Chapter 1308. Who are you? Why are they in Moose C's house? He formed a seal with one hand. If Moose C said that they were bad people, he would immediately attack them. Please search to see the most complete, the fastest to update. We are Moose C's saviors. Sima Yue said. Savior. Yangzi turned his head to look at Moose C. Seeing him nod, he lowered his guard and cupped his fists towards the two of them. He said gratefully, I've offended you earlier. Please forgive me. Sima Yue nodded slightly in response. Moose C, were you injured by those people again? Yangzi asked. Moose C nodded. Yangzi didn't care about her attitude. He turned around and asked Moose C, I heard that you were caught by Zhang Shua again today. They even saw him chasing after you, but not long after, they found him dead. Moose C, tell uncle the truth. Is his death related to you? Moose C wanted to say that he killed someone, but Sima Yue spoke first. Moose C's strength is so weak. That Zhang Shua brought a dozen to 20 men. Do you think he can kill them? Sima Yue said faintly. Moose C looked at her in surprise. He didn't expect her to say that, but he still followed her meaning and said, there are many of them. He didn't directly say that he wasn't the one who killed them, but he didn't deny it either. Yangzi followed Sima Yue's train of thought and felt that it was indeed impossible for Moose C to be the one who said it. Hence, he shifted his attention to them and asked, You know so clearly that you were the ones who saved him from Zhang Shua. Were you the one who killed them? Sima Yue shrugged. We did kill a few guards, but Zhang Shua was not killed by us. Really? Ask Moose C if you don't believe me. Uncle Yangzi, Zhang Shua was indeed not killed by them. Moose C said. Yangzi stared at Moose C. After confirming that he was telling the truth, he patted his shoulder and said, Uncle is also worried about you. This Zhang family is too powerful. If you killed Zhang Shua and they found out, it would be troublesome. Yes, I know. Moose C nodded. But Zhang Shua was not killed by them. I killed him, he added in his mind. Well, it's good that you have nothing to do with this. Yangzi seemed to heave a sigh of relief. If you were captured by them, that matter might be leaked out. At that time, it would be even more impossible to find your father. Did you find it? Moose C shook his head and said, Uncle Yangzi, I really didn't find it. Either this thing never existed, or father took it away. You should look for it again. Your father must have left a copy at home when he left. Just in case something happens, we can look for him, Yangzi said confidently. But father has never told me about this. Moreover, Moose looked around and said, The house is clear at a glance now. If there was anything, we would have discovered it long ago. Maybe you missed something. Yangzi said, This is the key to finding your father. If we can't find that place, we won't be able to find your father. Do you understand? I know. Moose C lowered his head in disappointment. If he couldn't find that thing, he wouldn't be able to find his father. But he searched the entire house and didn't find any trace of that thing. One could imagine how he felt. Yangzi saw that he was in low spirits and said, You should look for it again. Don't go out on the streets during this period of time, in case Zhang family takes their anger out on you. I understand. These are for your expenses during this period of time. Your father is a great hero. Don't fall behind in your cultivation. Yangzi handed him a bag. Moose C took the bag and looked at him gratefully. I will work hard. Thank you, Uncle Yangzi. All right. Although they are your saviors, we don't know their identities. To avoid trouble, be careful. I will, Uncle Yangzi. Okay, I'll go back first. I'll inform you if there's any news. Yangzi turned around and left. Moose C went to send him off and returned quickly. He sat on the praying mat and opened the bag to look at the things inside. Sima Yue glanced at it. There were only a few low, gray-dark spirit stones and 2 middle-grade ones. Sima Yue supported her chin with her right hand and looked at him. What kind of person is that Uncle Yangzi of yours? Moose C kept the spirit stones. He knew that Sima Yue wasn't an ordinary person. She wouldn't care about his spirit stones, so he wasn't worried. Uncle Yangzi is my father's good friend. He has been taking care of me and helping me all these years. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive now. You trust him a lot. Yes. Then you lied to him just now. Sima Yue said, If you trust him, why didn't you tell him the truth in the end? Moose C lowered his head and held the bag in his hand. He didn't say anything. What should he say? Although he had only known her for half a day, he had an inexplicable trust in her. Sima Yue sighed and said, "You child, you only answer once every 3 questions. Talking to you is so tiring. Who are you?" Mu Si suddenly raised his head and looked at her with tears in his eyes. "You always ask me questions but never tell me who you are." Why was a stranger so concerned about him? Although he was still young, his experience all these years made him have a sharp intuition towards people. He could tell who was sincere and who was fake. Sima Yue didn't expect the stubborn him to be like this. She was stunned for a moment before she smiled and said, "My name is Sima Yue. Just like you, I'm also looking for my father." "Your father is also missing?" "Yes." Sima Yue changed her position. She hugged her knees with both hands and placed her head on her knees, saying, "Actually, we are in the same boat. You couldn't find your father until you were 8 years old. I was sent to another place when I was born. I have never seen my father before, and I don't know what he looks like. I don't know if he misses me like I miss him. I only know that he isn't living well now. I have to find him quickly." "Your father is in Ghost City?" Mu Si asked. "Yes. I came here to look for my father." Sima Yue took out Sima Lu Xian's life jade after she finished speaking. The top-quality jade was full of cracks. It could be seen what the owner looked like now. Perhaps it was because they were in the same boat. The two of them became closer to each other. Sima Yue sighed and said, "Do you know that your Uncle Yang Zi's feelings towards you are not that simple?" Mu Si held the bag in his hand tightly again and whispered, "I know. He didn't take care of me in front of my father. It was because of other reasons. But I saw you running out excitedly when you heard his voice. Don't you care?" Sima Yue asked. He could feel outside. Sima Yue was a little surprised. Could it be that he was deliberately acting so intimate? This book came from Chapter 1309. "You already knew that he wasn't sincere to you," Sima Yue said confidently. "After my father went missing, everyone bullied me, and I had no source of income. Uncle Yangzi is the only one who has approached me." Mu Si said, "I don't have any power. I don't know what I can do. If it wasn't for Uncle Yangzi, I might have starved to death." "When did you realize that he wasn't sincere to you?" Sima Yue took out a few dark attribute spirit fruits and threw one to Di Wu while stuffing one to Mu Si. Mu Si took the spirit fruit but didn't eat it. He looked at the water droplets on the spirit fruit and said, 2 years ago, he asked me if there was a treasure map left behind by my father at home." "Treasure map?" This was indeed a reason to treat him well. "Yes." He said that his father had gone out to search for treasure. He must have left a copy of the treasure map at home so that we can find him. He even said that his father had mentioned it before. But I've never seen that thing. Mu Si said, when I told him, he didn't believe me and told me to look for it. He even yelled at me after I said it a few times. Sima Yue understood that this little guy was sensitive. Although Yangzi had treated him well in the past, his behavior in the past 2 years was too obvious. Naturally, he would be suspicious. If I hadn't interrupted you, would you have told him the truth? It's possible. If the Zhang family knew about this and arrested me, he would at least try to save me. After all, he hasn't gotten it yet. Mu Si said, "Then why did you stop talking when I interrupted you?" "I don't know either." Sima Yue smiled and did not mention this again. She looked at the spirit fruit in his hand and said, "Eat it. This thing is much more useful than the few low-grade crystals he gave you." "I'm going out to buy food first," Mu Si said as his stomach started growling. Sima Yue then remembered that Mu Si was still at the stage where he needed to eat every day. No wonder he treasured those few low-grade crystals so much. "Don't go out either. Since we can't go out now, why don't we find something to do?" She got up and walked to the courtyard. Mu Si followed her out. "What are you doing?" Mu Si asked. "I'm cooking. Aren't you hungry?" Sima Yue waved her hand and took out a set of pots and pans. When Mu Si saw those things, even the basins were spirit tools. He labeled her as a descendant of a prestigious family in his heart. Seeing her cooking skillfully, he leaned over and said, "I didn't expect you to know how to cook. What's so strange about cooking? I thought that a young lady from a big family like you would definitely not do any household chores." Mu Si spoke the truth. Sima Yue smiled and said, "I like to cook. The food outside didn't taste good, so he had to cook it himself. After so many years, I can be considered to have trained my culinary skills. The place where you grew up must be very good to you. Musi said with certainty. Yeah. Thinking of Sima Lai and the others, the smile on her face became even warmer. My grandfather and brothers are very good to me. At that time, we were in a very poor place. My grandfather was a general in that country. I had 4 brothers, all of whom were very talented. They never despised me just because I was fostered. Then you're really lucky, Musi said enviously. Although she didn't have a father, she had a family that loved her dearly. As for him, he had nothing. I'm indeed lucky in this aspect. Sima Yue didn't hide it. But I have my own troubles too. You have troubles? Musi didn't believe her. Of course I do. When I was your age, I didn't know how to cultivate. The whole country called me the #1 trash. Sima Yue said. How is that possible? You're so powerful. Musi had a surprised expression for the first time. What's impossible about that? Sima Yue said. At that time, my body was poisoned and I couldn't cultivate. My family didn't know the reason either. Then how did you cultivate after that? The poison was cured. I remember that I was your age as well. I detoxified, cultivated, and then entered a whole new world. After that, my life slowly changed. Sima Yue said, Come, try the roasted pork I made. Musi hesitated for a moment. He took the roasted pork from her hand and took a bite. His eyes flashed with amazement, but he immediately regained his calmness. Sima Yue knew the level of her skills. Seeing that he was only surprised for a moment, she thought that this little fella had strong self-control. What do you usually eat? She placed the roasted pork on the plate. Diwu automatically took it to the table at the side. The same as what normal people eat. 1 piece of lower-grade crystal can buy a lot. Musi answered. He could eat those foods for a long time, but it wasn't helpful to his cultivation. After he finished the food in his hand, he didn't take the food on the table. Diwu went forward and said, There's a lot on the table. Let's wait for her. Musi said. Sima Yue smiled and said, I take a long time to cook a meal. You can eat first. Otherwise, it won't taste as good when it gets cold. In the past, everyone was more casual. Basically, they would eat after roasting it. Sometimes she would roast it, sometimes someone else would roast it. Basically, once the meal was done, everyone would eat. Speaking of which, it had been a long time since someone said that they would wait for him, especially when he was so hungry. Although she said that, he still didn't move. She had to say that he had an excellent upbringing. This made her curious about his father. To be able to raise such a tenacious and self-controlled child, he definitely wasn't an ordinary person. After she finished roasting the pork, she made a roasted duck and stewed a pot of snake soup. After everything was done, the roasted pork was already cold. The taste was slightly worse, but it was still delicious as compared to the others. The 3 of them sat on the table. Sima Yue broke off the roasted duck leg and placed it in Musi's bowl. Missy! Diwu was hit back by Sima Yue when he tried to break off the duck leg. Now that he saw her giving the duck leg to Musi, he called out weakly. Sima Yue broke off the duck neck and stuffed it into his bowl, saying, Eat. Diwu felt wronged. Why was this little guy eating the duck leg while he could only chew on the duck neck? You'll recover from whatever you eat. This is the most suitable for you. Sima Yue said faintly. Uff. Musi, who didn't show his emotions, laughed for the first time. Diwu felt even more wronged. Why? You don't want to eat? Sima Yue asked. No, the food that Missy gave me is naturally the best. Diwu saw Sima Yue pulling a long face, so he quickly smiled apologetically. Dilu didn't say that he had eaten Missy's cooking, not to mention that Missy gave him the food personally. He would have something to brag about when he went back. Chapter 13:10. Sima Yue looked at Musi. It was as if she saw herself in the past, at the same age, stubborn and unwilling to admit defeat. Thinking about what he had been through all these years, her heart was filled with pity. This was something she had never felt before. She scooped a bowl of snake soup for him, saying, Don't just eat meat, try this. This is stewed with 1,000-year black jade snake meat. It's good for your body. Musi used a spoon to take a bite, The taste was indeed not bad. When he ate it, he could feel a gentle energy coming from his stomach. It was very comfortable. How do you have so many good things? It's accumulated slowly. Sima Yue said, the more you experience, the more you accumulate. But you're not much older than me. Mu Si said, how do you know? Maybe I'm older than you by a few hundred years? Sima Yue laughed. Anyway, spirit masters could maintain their appearance. Even if they were 1,000 years old, they could still make themselves look like they were 20 or 30 years old. Intuition. Mu Si said, hee, eat the porridge. You haven't said how old you are. Mu Si looked at her persistently. 50-something. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, why are you so surprised? Mu Si looked at her, that dumbfounded look. It could be said that it was the biggest expression on his face in a long time. You're only 50-something? That's right. Those 100-years-old people in the city are not as good as you. Mu Si said, those 50-something-year-old ladies only know how to play. Experience is different. Sima Yue did not think that she was that great. Her achievements were mostly due to external forces, such as meeting Mo Sha, contracting many spirit beasts, and so on. If it weren't for these external conditions, it would be impossible for her to have such high strength. Of course, she was also very hard-working. Her efforts made everyone who had seen or heard of her blush with shame. No matter what, you're very powerful. If you work hard, you'll have a bright future. I don't want to have a bright future now. I just want to find my father. How did your father go missing? Did he go looking for treasure? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Mu Si was silent for a while before responding. Sima Yue noticed that he did not want to talk about her father, so she shifted her attention to other things and asked about Ghost City. Sima Yue thought that the Ghost City was a place where crooks mixed in with the honest folk. She did not expect that due to the passage of time, some clans and forces had slowly formed here, including the city lord, Luo Liansha. It was said that this Luo Liansha was a peerless beauty. Unfortunately, she was too vicious and merciless. She was also very strong. Everyone in the Ghost City was afraid of her. However, it was said that he hadn't been out much recently, so no one knew what he was doing. Since the city lord was no longer in charge, there would naturally be someone else who would take her place. Thus, the 4 stewards under the jurisdiction of the city lord's manor had ascended to the heavens. One of them was the patriarch of Zhang Shua's family. This Ghost City was much bigger than the cities that Sima Yue had been to before. It could be seen from the fact that they had not seen a single city gate, even after flying for a few days. Although Zhang Shua's talent was not very good, he was nothing compared to his brothers. However, because he was a direct descendant, his status was still very high. She did not expect to kill such an important person the moment she arrived. It was no wonder that the Ghost City was in a complete mess. She understood the thoughts of those big families. Although this person wasn't very outstanding in the family, if the family members bullied him, the higher-ups would turn a blind eye. However, once a family member was killed by an outsider, it would be very serious. They must find out the truth, find the murderer, and kill him. Only then would they be satisfied, because the former was just an internal conflict within the family, while the latter involved the family's reputation. Someone dared to kill the younger generation of the family. Wasn't that slapping their face and challenging their dignity? Therefore, the former could be tolerated, but the latter was absolutely intolerable. Mu Si also talked about some other forces in the city. However, because it had nothing to do with them for the time being, it was much more vague. Mu Si, have you heard of a person's name? Who? Sima Lu Xian. Your father? Yes. Mu Si thought for a while and said, if you ask someone else, you might not be able to get anything out of him. However, it's right to ask me. You've heard of it? Sima Yue's eyes lit up. Yes, I once accidentally heard the people in the city mention this name. However, it seems that this name is a taboo in the city. No one can mention it. That time, when I was passing by, I heard 2 people talking about it. One of them mentioned it, and the other quickly stopped it. However, when I walked back in a while, I saw that the 2 people were taken away. Mu Si recalled. Sima Yue was stunned. He couldn't even mention it. What did her father do here? Therefore, don't go out and ask others. If you're heard by the patrol team, you will be taken away immediately. Mu Si said in a serious tone. Got it. Sima Yue nodded. But do you know what he did here? Where's he now? I don't know. I only heard them mention this name. If they weren't caught at that time, I probably wouldn't even remember this matter. However, looking at those people's reactions, I think your father must have done something big. Unfortunately, I wasn't here at that time, so I didn't know. Mu Si said apologetically. Well, thank you anyway. Sima Yue smiled at him. At least you confirmed that my father did come here that year. The possibility of him being here is higher. This means that I'm not looking in the wrong direction. But if you want to find your father, it will be very difficult. Mu Si said, as long as he's here, I will definitely find him. Sima Yue said confidently. Mu Si saw the smile on her face. He didn't know why, but he nodded as well. He swore in his heart that he would also find his father. All right, there's one more thing. Sima Yue saw that he was almost done eating. She changed a plate of cut fruits and passed a fork to him. That forbidden area you didn't mention when you introduced Ghost City just now. What is that place? That's Ghost City's forbidden area. Ever since I can remember, I've heard the most that we can't go near that place. If we're discovered, not only will it bring about a fatal disaster, it will even lead to the extermination of our clan. Mu Si said, Oh, it's such a mysterious place. How come there aren't even a few guards? Sima Yue was puzzled. How would she know that there wasn't anyone there? Coincidentally, something happened in the forbidden area. Everyone went there to help. Trespassing into the forbidden area was something that no one dared to do after killing a bunch of people. Who knew that a situation like hers and Mu Si would happen? Mu Si, you bitch. Get out here right now. A delicate shout came from outside the door. Following that, a figure wearing a blood-red dress kicked open the crumbling fence. Chapter 13:11. Seeing the person, the rare smile on Mu Si's face immediately disappeared, and his aura returned to its initial coldness. He stood up and looked at the woman and her follower, and said coldly, Meng Tianshan, what are you doing here? Little slut, did you kill Zhang Shuo? Meng Tianshan ran to Mu Si's side and pushed him with all her might. Meng Tianshan might be a woman, but she cultivated her body, so she had a lot of strength in her hands. With this push, Mu Si looked like he was going to fall heavily on the ground. Sima Yue, who was at the side, casually pulled him back. She lowered her head to think about something, so Meng Tianshan, who was filled with grief and anger, did not notice her. Now that she saw her face, the jealousy in her eyes almost spat fire. Who are you? You dare to help this little bastard? I'm just from the Liu family in the north of the city. I met Mu Si today and was chatting here. It doesn't seem good for you to rush in and hit me, right? Sima Yue made up a story. What Liu family or Wang family? If you dare to help this little bastard, I'll take care of you together with him. Meng Tianshan shouted. There are no other families in the north of the city that could make her Meng family afraid. This Liu family was definitely not a big family, so if she could kill her or even disfigure her. Coincidentally, the poison master at home gave her 2 bottles of medicinal powder, so she could test the effect today. Meng Tianshan, what are you doing? Mu Si shouted. Some people you can offend, but some people you can't. If you bring disaster to your family because of this, don't regret being so impulsive today. Meng Tianshan was stunned by Mu Si's scolding, and then she laughed out of anger. Mu Si, who do you think you are? You dare to discipline me? You brat? You're lustful when you see someone who's pretty? You're good. I couldn't tell that you're a romantic, daring to resist because of lust. What nonsense are you talking about? Mu Si blushed and retorted, Get out of here. I really couldn't tell that a little bastard like you would be so brave in front of the person you like. TSK. Tell me, if I destroy her face, will you still resist me so bravely? Meng Tianshan sneered. Meng Tianshan, how dare you? Mu Si shouted. Why wouldn't I dare? Meng Tianshan said. I'll disfigure her first and let you watch helplessly. You'll feel terrible, right? After you feel uncomfortable, I will kill the 2 of you and let you go find Zhang Shuo. He loved to bully you when he was alive. Every time he saw you get beaten up, he would be in a good mood. Now that he's gone, you can go down and accompany him. Pucci, Diwu laughed out loud. He shrugged his shoulders as though he heard a funny joke. Ugly, what are you laughing at? Meng Tianshan shouted. I'm laughing at your stupidity. Diwu touched his face. Although he wasn't as handsome as Master and Wu Lingyu, he wasn't bad-looking. How was he ugly? It seemed that this woman was not only stupid, but also blind. You dare to call me stupid? That's right. You can disfigure people just because you want to. You can kill people just because you want to. Diwu said, Are you treating us as dead people? But we're clearly still alive. That only means you're stupid. You're still alive now, but you'll be dead in a while. Meng Tianshan said, You guys capture the 3 of them. Yes, young mistress. The lackeys behind him did those things many times. Capturing people was something they were familiar with. They came behind the 3 of them and prepared to imprison them. See how I'll take care of you. Diwu condensed his spirit power and was about to make a move. Diwu, didn't you hear what Musi said? Sima Yus sat on her seat. She wasn't interested in the lackeys that came over. What did Musi say? Diwu asked. He said we can't use spirit power, otherwise we'll attract the patrol team. Sima Yue reminded. Diwu recalled that Musi did say that. Normally, Meng Tianshan and the rest wouldn't use spirit power when they bullied others. Although they wanted to have fun, they didn't want to implicate the patrol team, because it was said that the patrol team had extraordinary interrogation methods. Musi heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Sima Yue recalled that. At this crucial moment, it was best not to implicate the patrol team. Otherwise, if they were captured, firstly, they had been to the forbidden area. Secondly, Sima Yue's identity was suspicious. Thirdly, they were still burdened with Zhang Shua's murder case. If they were captured at this moment, they might not be able to come out alive. Those lackeys restrained the 3 of them. Seeing that they were defenseless, they despised them in their hearts. They were useless once they lost their spirit power. Bring that woman to me first. Meng Tianshan pulled a stool to one side. Get her to kneel down and raise her head. It'll be easier for me to do it. She took out a medicine bottle. When she opened the bottle cap, there was some medicine on the cap. She threw it on the ground. It corroded a small hole on the ground. If it could corrode a hole on the ground, wouldn't the effect be obvious if it was dripped on the face? Sima Yue's face darkened, looking at Meng Tianshan's eyes coldly. Meng Tianshan also noticed the small hole and said in surprise, I didn't expect the Poison Master's concoction to be so effective. I can't wait to see the effect of this on the face. Get her to kneel down. But no matter how hard those 2 lackeys tried, Sima you just stood there motionless. Did the 2 of you not eat? You can't even hold down a human? Meng Tianshan frowned. It's not that they didn't eat, but they don't have the ability. After Sima Yu spoke, she used both hands to press down on the 2 hands on her shoulders. With a forceful fling, the 2 of them were flung away. Then, before anyone could react, she flashed to Meng Tianshan's side and easily snatched the medicine bottle in her hand. At the same time, a strange fragrance spread in the courtyard. You, how did you escape from their imprisonment? Meng Tianshan shouted. Do you like to disfigure people? Do you like to kill people? Sima Yue smirked. How about I grant you your wish today? How dare you? Meng Tianshan shouted. Why are you still standing there? Why aren't you coming over and killing her? Judging from Sima Yue's methods just now, her strength was no match for her. Normally, it would be difficult for her to deal with one person with her physical strength, let alone deal with 2 people easily. Miss, we can't move. Someone said, What do you mean you can't move? Meng Tianshan saw the medicine bottle in Sima Yue's hand, and her face turned pale. Can't move. That means I can't move. Sima Yue explained kindly. You know how to use poison. Don't you know that you've been poisoned? Chapter 13:12. Meng Tianshan was stunned when she heard what she said. She only knew how to use poison, but she had never been poisoned before, so she did not know what it felt like to be poisoned. When did you poison me? When she realized that she could not move, she screamed at Yue in fear. Sima Yue stepped on the stool with one foot and leaned over to look at her, saying, You don't even know when I poisoned you, It seems like you haven't even learned the basics. It's the fragrance just now, Meng Tianshan said after realizing it. You finally reacted. Sima Yue shook the bottle in her hand. What do you think will happen if I drip this on your face? It will definitely look good. I haven't concocted this kind of poison before. I really want to see the effect. No, no, don't disfigure me, Meng Tianshan screamed. Slap. Sima Yue slapped her, interrupting her scream. No, but weren't you planning to disfigure me just now? Why didn't you think of not wanting it at that time? I was wrong. I was wrong. Please spare me. I will ask my father to give you a lot of treasures as an apology, Meng Tianshan said naively. TSK, TSK. Only a young lady who is well protected by her family can say such words. Sima Yue sighed. It's a pity that you didn't hide the hatred and murderous intent in your eyes. I'm afraid that if I let you go, you will bring your family members and come back in less than an hour. Meng Tianshan did not expect her to say what she was thinking and quickly denied. No, no. As long as you let me go, I will let bygones be bygones. Sima Yue laughed. Why do people like you all think so highly of yourselves? You all think that as long as you don't pursue the matter, this matter will be over. Zhang Shuo, and you both said that if I let you go, this matter will be over. Have you asked me if I want to let it go? You really killed Zhang Shuo, Meng Tianshan shouted. No, 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 I only killed his guards. Sima Yue said, the one who really killed him was the little kid that you have been bullying. Meng Tianshan looked at Mu Si in shock. Although she felt that Zhang Shuo had disappeared when he was chasing after Mu Si, she did not think that he really had the ability to kill Zhang Shuo. But he didn't expect it to really be him. She had a bad premonition in her heart. Since they had told her this secret, it seemed that they really did not intend to let her go. With a thought, she took out a signal flare and wanted to fire it. This signal flare was developed for this kind of situation. She only needed to control it with her mind and pull off the pull ring, and the flare would rise into the air by itself. Swoosh! Seeing the signal flare flying towards the sky from her hand, a glimmer of hope flashed through her heart. However, before the signal flare exploded, it was stopped by Di Wu. What a pity the signal flare didn't work. Sima Yue smiled and said, that was close. You almost succeeded. Seems like to be on the safe side. I have to get rid of you guys as soon as possible. Meng Tianshan saw her holding a bottle and swaying it in front of her. She was so scared that her face turned pale. The smell of urine came from below, and her skirt was wet. Sima Yue furrowed her brows in disgust. So disgusting. She retracted her leg and took a step back. She fanned her nose and said, I didn't expect you to pee your pants just like that. You're so disgusting. I think even my Hua Hua will despise you. Hua Hua, do you want to eat such a person? Following her words, Hua Hua appeared. Seeing the people who peed their pants from fright, she said in disgust, I don't want to eat such a disgusting person. I'd better go and eat the others. After saying that, she transformed into her own flowers. One flower for one person and ate all of them. Meng Tianshan looked at Hua Hua and was so scared that she couldn't say anything. AI, my Hua Hua really despises you. Sima Yue said, seems like I have to get rid of you myself. No, no, don't kill me. Don't ruin my face. Meng Tianshan broke down completely. She cried so hard that it was a mess. What happened to the aura you had when you came in just now? Sima Yue shook her head. You're still thinking about your face at this time. Should I say that you're stupid or naive? No, no. Meng Tianshan didn't know what to say anymore and just kept shaking her head. Don't worry, I don't have the habit of disfiguring people like you. Sima Yue said, but Meng Tianshan still couldn't stop crying. Don't cry. If you cry again, I'll destroy you immediately. Air. Meng Tianshan stopped immediately. Because she was in such a hurry, she even burped. Hua Hua had already eaten everyone and returned to Yoyue's side. She looked at Meng Tianshan in disgust and said, Yeah, you're so bad. You wanted to kill her, but you had to torture her. How did I torture her? I was just thinking about it. Sima Yue said very honestly, she's a rich young lady after all. I have to think of a dignified way for her to die. That's true. She's ugly to begin with. If her death is too ugly, we'll probably have nightmares. Hua Hua agreed. That's right. So I have to think of a beautiful way to die. Sima Yue said seriously. But yeah, look at her. Is she going to faint from fright? If she faints, it won't be fun. Don't worry, this poison will make them immobile, but will make their nerves abnormally excited. She won't faint. That's good. Mu Si, who had been standing still, twitched his mouth. These two women were really ruthless. They didn't use any vulgarities when they scolded people. They tortured people's hearts and prevented them from fainting. He thought that Sima Yue was a good person, but it seemed like he thought too much. But what difference did it make whether she was a good person or not? There wasn't a clear boundary between good and bad people. She looked bad now, but from another point of view, she wasn't bad. Another warm stream flowed along the legs of the stool to the ground. Sima Yue and Hua Hua took 2 steps back at the same time. It's too disgusting. I can't watch it anymore. Hua Hua covered her nose and said, Indeed. Sima Yue turned back to look at Mu Si and said, How do we deal with this fellow? Mu Si stared at her hatefully. He thought of how they bullied him all these years and said, I want to deal with her personally. All right, then I'll leave it to you. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing him standing still, she remembered that he was also poisoned. She went over and gave him a pill to detoxify him. Mu Si was freed and walked towards Meng Tianshan. He took out a dagger from his space ring. It was the dagger that was stained with Zhang Shua's heart blood half a day ago. Mu Si, if you dare to kill me, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Meng Tianshan shouted in despair. You'll die in front of me first. After saying that, he raised the dagger in his hand up high and stabbed down with all his might. Stop! Accompanied by a shout, a long sword attacked Mu Si's chest. Chapter 13:13. The sword was extremely fast and arrived in front of Mu Si in the blink of an eye. He did not even have time to react and could only stare blankly as the sword quickly approached his chest. He could not dodge such a fast and powerful sword, especially when he felt that he was locked by a force and could not move at all. The white blade glowed coldly and dazzled him. In a trance, he smelled the scent of death. Just as he saw the Grim Reaper getting closer and closer to him, a soft hand was placed on his shoulder. A warm power came from the place where they touched, and it pulled him out of the illusion. He regained his senses and saw that Sima Yue was holding his shoulder with her left hand and the sword with her right hand. The two of them were sent flying by the force of the sword for quite a distance before they stopped. Quang Dang. The sword was thrown to the ground, and Sima Yue shook her hand in pain. She took out some medicinal powder and applied it on her hand. The bleeding immediately stopped. It's so King painful. She took a deep breath. If it wasn't for the fact that her body had been tempered countless times, making her body comparable to a spiritual weapon, she wouldn't just be bleeding right now. Her entire palm would probably have been cut off. Mu Si looked at her with a complicated expression. No one knew what he was thinking. Meng Tianshan thought that she was definitely going to die. She did not expect that someone would come to save her at this time. When she saw the person who came in, she said excitedly, Pang Yuan, save me. Shan, don't worry. I will definitely save you. The leading man ran to Meng Tianshan's side and wanted to help her up. He did not mind that she had wet her pants just now. It seemed like it was true love. Sima Yue was not interested in this Pang Yuan. Her gaze landed on the old man who came in later. He was the one who had shot the sword just now. She did not know how strong he was. Could Hua Hua and the rest deal with him? The most important thing was that once the fight started, it would attract the patrol team's attention. His goal of secretly gathering information would not be achieved. Who are you? The old man looked at Sima Yue and was shocked. Although he did not know Sima Yue's exact age, he could feel that she was not old. At least she was not an old person who had lived for hundreds or thousands of years. At such a young age, he was actually able to receive his attack with his bare hands. Although he did not use his full strength, that was his spiritual weapon. It was not something that an ordinary person could withstand. Moreover, she received it with her bare hands. She was only injured, but her palm was not cut off. It's none of your business who I am, Sima Yue said. Seventh grandpa, it's them. They're the ones who killed Zhang Shua, Meng Tianshan said while trembling as she nestled in Pang Yuan's embrace. It was you who killed Zhang Shua. It seems that no matter who you are, I can't let you go. Pang Qi stared at Sima Yue. He condensed spiritual power in both of his hands. Because of what happened just now, he did not underestimate Sima Yue and decided to give it his all. The moment Sima Yue saw him use his spirit energy, her hanging heart calmed down. If it wasn't above the venerable rank, then there was nothing to worry about. Although Pang Qi did not underestimate Sima Yue, he did not expect her to be so powerful. In a moment of carelessness, the entire room was enveloped in her domain. Sima Yue did not fully expand her domain. She only used its spatial attribute to envelop the entire room. Therefore, the others did not feel it. Only the powerful Pang Qi noticed it. Domain, how is this possible? He looked at Sima Yue. She was very young. He could not be wrong about that. However, the aura of the domain was connected to her. But how is this possible? How is it possible for a young person to comprehend a domain? However, he did not want to accept it. The truth was the truth. He had to admit that he was trapped in the domain. He looked at Sima Yue and did not dare to act rashly. He was thinking about how long it would take for him to break through this domain. Hua, can you handle it alone? Sima Yue asked. This guy is a half-step venerable rank. If there was no one else, it would be fine. However, with these people, it would be a bit difficult. Hua said honestly. Although her flowers could split into many branches, each branch would take away a little of her strength. She would not be as strong as when she attacked with all her strength. Then you go and deal with those guys. Little Meng, I'll leave this guy to you. Sima Yue said. Okay, Yu. Hua split out many branches to deal with those followers. Because Pang Yuan's position in the family was higher, and because Zhang Shua's death had alerted him, the people he brought out were much stronger than Zhang Shua and Meng Tianshan. They wanted to protect themselves. Unfortunately, they were facing Sima Yue and the others. These people were not enough. When Mu Si heard Sima Yue say another name, he thought that she actually had an even stronger contract beast. This was too powerful. One Hua was enough to surprise him. Now, there was another one. How strong was she? When little Meng came out, the cold air emitted from her body made Mu Si shiver subconsciously. After she came out, she did not speak and directly attacked Pang Qi. Sima Yue looked at little Meng, who had the advantage, and sighed slightly. She used to be such a cute, lively, and innocent girl. Ever since she recovered her memories and removed the seal, the aura on her body became colder and colder. If they did not sign the contract at the beginning, it would be a big question mark if they wanted to subdue her now, especially now that she was digesting the dark aura. Every time she digested it, her strength would increase by a bit. The aura on her body would also become colder. Mu Si saw that Pang Qi was being beaten back by little Meng and sighed, so powerful. He knew about Pang Qi and his strength. Now that even he could not defeat little Meng, it meant that she was stronger. Because of the extension of the domain space, although it looked like it was in the courtyard, the space of the battle was very wide. The clash of spiritual power made Mu Si feel the majestic power, but the people outside did not feel it at all. Soon, Hua and Di Wu finished off those people. Seeing that little Meng was about to deal the final blow to Pang Qi, Hua quickly went up. Little Meng, he's such a good nourishment. Don't kill him. Hua shouted. Little Meng's killer move struck to the side the moment she attacked. The aura of death and Pang Qi passed through. But before he could heave a sigh of relief, a huge flower descended from the sky and sucked him in. In the end, only Pang Yuan and Meng Tianshan, who were scared silly, were left. You can't kill me. Pang Yuan saw Sima Yue looking at him. He was so scared that his body went soft and his hands lost their strength. Meng Tianshan, who was in his arms, fell to the ground. This again? Oh, why can't I kill you? Sima Yue asked indifferently. Chapter 13-14. Title: Chapter Missed Opportunities Will Never Come Again. Author: She was clearly an extremely beautiful lady. She was clearly smiling, but he felt fear towards her from the bottom of his heart. It was as if he was looking at an old witch. He swallowed his saliva and tried to calm himself down, saying, "My position in the family is very high. I have a soul imprint left behind by my ancestors. If you attack me, not only will you be attacked by the imprint, the family will also receive the news immediately. Then you'll be in danger." Sima Yuan naturally knew about this type of soul imprint. She had a few of them in her mind, but when she looked at Mu Si and saw him nodding, she believed what he said. "All right, I'll take it that you're telling the truth." Sima Yuan shrugged. She did not say whether she would kill him or let him go. However, he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Since she already believed his words, then he could say that he was already safe. "As long as you let me go, I will definitely not pursue this matter. I will even send you a large sum of compensation." He tried his best to make himself look sincere. "Not only that, I will treat you as my boss from now on. If you tell me to go east, I will definitely not go west. If you tell me to be a cow, I will definitely not be a horse. If you don't believe me, I can swear. As long as I swear, I definitely won't dare to hurt you again." Sima Yue looked at Peng Yuan, whose face was full of sincerity. She had to admit that this guy was smarter than Zhang Shuo and Meng Tianshan from before. In the end, the two of them still put on airs as young ladies and young masters, thinking that it would be enough if they let her go. He was too foolish and naive. This Peng Yuan was not so blindly arrogant. When he saw that his men had been killed, he immediately lowered his attitude and knew to apologize and compensate. However, whether or not his heart was sincere remained to be seen. "Since you said that you can make an oath, then you can make an oath first," Sima Yue said. A trace of joy flashed in Peng Yuan's eyes, and he immediately swore an oath. "I, Peng Yuan, swear in the name of the God of Darkness that as long as you let me go today, I will not pursue this matter and look for trouble with her again. When I get back, I'll have someone send a gift to apologize." Peng Yuan felt that his oath was flawless. As long as she let him go, he could leave. As long as he left, then what would happen next? However, Sima Yue's face turned cold after hearing this. She said faintly, "I thought you were a smart person." Peng Yuan was shocked when he heard her words. She hurriedly recalled her oath again and felt that there was nothing to be angry about. Could it be that she had guessed his thoughts? Sima Yue looked at him and said, "There's nothing wrong with your oath, and you look very sincere. But you shouldn't think that my IQ is as low as the woman in front of you." "I didn't," Peng Yuan denied flatly. "You said that you wouldn't cause trouble for me after you go back. But what you're thinking is that you're referring to yourself. When the time comes, you'll tell everyone about this, and your clan will take revenge for you. As long as you don't show up and pretend that you don't know about this matter, you still won't break the oath, right?" Peng Yuan wanted to say that he did not think that way, but Sima Yue's eyes were so bright that he knew that even if he said that, she would not believe him. "I was careless just now. I'll make a new oath." However, Sima Yue shook her head and said, "Some opportunities are missed. You can't kill me. I have a soul imprint on my body. Killing me won't do you any good. I can make a new oath. I swear that my clan will not cause trouble for you. Okay? As long as you don't kill me." Peng Yuan said. His analysis was right. Letting him go was much more useful than killing him. Unfortunately, he did not know that she had many ways to deal with him. She thought that this person was not too bad, so she did not insist on killing him. As long as he knew what was good for him, it was not impossible for her to let him go. Unfortunately, he wasted this opportunity. "Don't worry, I won't kill you," Sima Yue said, "but I won't let you go either." Hearing that she would not kill him, Peng Yuan heaved a sigh of relief and continued to persuade her. "It's not good for you to catch me. If my clan doesn't see me go back, they will definitely send people to investigate. They will follow my scent to find me. At that time, it will be bad for you. If I want to catch you, they will naturally not be able to find you." Sima Yue said, "The Pang clan has a secret method. They can use their life plates to calculate their approximate location." Mu Si said, If those people find us, it will be troublesome. Don't worry, I have my own arrangements. Sima Yue said. Hua, your flowers can imprison people, but not kill them, right? Yes. Hua said. Then catch him. When I'm done with my business, I'll consider whether to kill him or not. Sima Yue said. I don't want to imprison that woman. She has the smell of urine. Hua proposed. If you don't want to, then don't. Sima Yue did not insist. Didn't this woman want to disfigure me and kill me? Kill her. Mu Si. Just now, Mu Si was attacked by Pang Qi when he was trying to kill Meng Tianshan. Now, she handed her over to him again. Mu Si's dagger was still in his hand. He walked over and saw that the person was already scared silly. He waved the dagger and slashed it down heavily. Pooh! The entire dagger sank into the flesh. When he pulled it out, blood spurted out. It splattered all over his face and clothes. Pang Yuan's mouth moved when he was about to do it. It seemed like he wanted to stop him, but he gave up in the end. When she smelled so bad, he did not despise her. It could be seen that he had true feelings for her. But this feeling became very ethereal in the face of life and death. Sima Yue did not think that he was cold-blooded because of this. This was just a normal reaction in this continent. There were not many people who were willing to live and die together. Hua, she called out. A vine flew out from Hua's sleeve. A flower quickly grew on the vine. It came to Pang Yuan's side and sucked him in. Pang Yuan did not resist. He knew that it was useless to resist. Floey was able to kill all of his guards, which meant that she wasn't someone he could compare to. If he did not resist, he would suffer less. Sima Yue felt that this kid was not bad. A wise man submits to circumstances. He was only one step away from being a wise man. If it was not because of his high position that made him not give up on dealing with her, he would have missed that opportunity. All right, let's go out. Sima Yue kept her domain. The courtyard turned into a small courtyard again. Those people were gone. Only Meng Tianshan's corpse was still lying on the ground. Hua would not eat it. Sima Yue threw a fire and burned her to ashes. Gentleman's Alliance. Chapter 13-15. There will never be any pop-up windows in the online book bar. Sima Yue kept Hua and Xiao Meng back. Their plates were still on the table. A good meal was ruined by them just like that. Di Wu lamented. Weren't you full when those people came? Sima Yue asked. He finished all the food she made. Only the fruits were left untouched. Is that safe for you? Mu Si asked. I heard that Pang Clan's secret technique is very powerful. That's your contracted beast after all. It'll be troublesome if they find it. Don't worry, it'll be fine, Sima Yue said confidently. If it was just the contracted space, perhaps she would be transmitted to her, but Hua went a spirit pagoda. That was a different space. Even if they used the secret technique to track it, they wouldn't be able to find it here. Di Wu and Mu Si were relieved when they saw her confidence. Then, she used her spirit technique to erase the aura of those people in the courtyard. It's finally done. She clapped her hands and smiled. Mu Si looked at her and suddenly knelt down in front of her, giving Di Wu and her a shock. Mu Si, what are you doing? Mu Si kowtowed to her twice and said, Please save my father. With you around, you'll definitely be able to find my father. Sima Yue looked at him. She didn't expect him to make such a request. She didn't care about him and took out a chair to sit down. I have my own things to do, you know that. I know. That's why I'm not asking you to help me immediately. After you're done with your things, can you help me find my father? Mu Si said, Your father has been missing for so many years without any clues. It's easier said than done to find him. Sima Yue said, Moreover, we just met. Why should I help you? To put it bluntly, what benefit can I get by helping you? As long as you're willing to help me, I'll do anything. Mu Si said, What can I ask you to do? Sima Yue said, After I rescue my father, I will leave this place. I may never come back here again. What can I ask you to do? Mu Si's face flushed red. She was right. He was of no use to her. In this real world, who would help him for free? Even Yangzi had a motive for being nice to him, let alone a person whom he had known for less than a day. However, his intuition told him that after this, he did not know when he would be able to find his father again. If you can find my father, I'm willing to go with you. Although I'm not strong now, I'm still young. One day, I'll become someone useful to you. Sima Yue looked at him, wondering if she should agree. Although they hadn't known each other for long, she still liked and pitied him. They were both alone, but along the way, she had many friends and masters by her side, and he had no one. Speaking of which, he was much more pitiful than her. However, if she agreed, she didn't know what kind of things would happen. Mu Si saw that she was still hesitating and made up his mind. He took out a black jade slip and said, "Father went to search for treasure. If you can find him, you can find this treasure. At that time, the treasure will be yours." Sima Yue was slightly stunned when she saw the jade slip. So he had found this thing long ago, but he didn't tell anyone. This brat was quite good at pretending. "Aren't you afraid that if you take this thing out, I won't do anything after snatching it?" "You won't," Mu Si said with certainty. "I believe you." Sima Yue looked at him and took the jade slip from his hand, saying, "Don't you know that sometimes you can't blindly trust others? Especially when we've known each other for less than a day." Mu Si didn't say anything. It was impossible for him to completely trust her. However, he was betting that if he won, he would find his father. Moreover, although they hadn't known each other for long, she told him directly that she would help him. Seeing him like this again, Sima Yue sighed and said, "I'll think about it. Get up first." Mu Si hesitated for a moment and stood up. "Have you seen the thing inside?" She played with the jade slip. Was there really a treasure map inside? She was a little doubtful. Mu Si shook his head and said, "There's a seal inside. I can't open it now." "Oh." She separated a strand of divine sense and carefully probed inside. As expected, there was a layer of obstruction. This layer of restriction was very difficult for Mu Si, but it was very easy for her. She used a little bit of force, and her divine sense entered the layer of restriction. The jade slip didn't have a treasure map that Mu Si mentioned. There was only a figure inside. It should be the divine sense that his father left behind. Feeling someone enter, the divine sense opened its eyes. When it saw that it wasn't its son, but an unknown girl, its expression changed and asked, "Where's my child?" "Don't worry, Mu Si is fine." Sima Yue said, "He let me in. He's outside right now. You can feel it." Mu Si's father, Mu Yinjie, sensed for a moment. After confirming that his child was fine, he looked at her and asked, "Why did Mu Si give this to you?" "He thought that this was a treasure map and wanted me to find you, so he gave this to me. But from the looks of it, there isn't a treasure map here." Sima Yue said, "There is indeed a treasure, but I didn't leave behind a treasure map." Mu Yinjie said, "If you can find me, you might find the treasure. You didn't go to find the treasure." Sima Yue said with certainty, "If you don't tell me the truth, I won't agree to his request. There is indeed a treasure in the place I went, but I didn't go there to find it. I went there to save someone." "Save someone?" "Right, I know a friend. Although we haven't known each other for long, I promised that if something happened to him, I would save him." "Who is he?" "I can't tell you who he is, but I think you should be able to guess, because you have a similar aura as him." Sima Yue was stunned and said, "You went to save my father. So Sima Lu Xian is your father." Mu Yinjie smiled. "Right? Where's he now?" "I don't know where he is. I only know that he went missing at Sunset Mountain. I will only know when I go there to look for him." Mu Yinjie said, "Child, I want to entrust you with something." "What is it?" "If I'm already dead when you find me, I want you to take Mu Si and leave this place." Sima Yue was silent for a while and said, "Okay." Mu Yinjie fell into a deep sleep after getting her promise. It seemed like that was all he wanted to say to her. He had to preserve his energy and wait for his child to come in and give him instructions. The only official website of the online book bar. Everything else is fake. Chapter 13:16. Sima Yue sighed in her heart and said to the consciousness, "If you're really not dead, I'll definitely take care of Mu Si." Mu Yinjie's lips curled up slightly. It seemed like he had heard her words. Mu Si looked at Sima Yue. Seeing the slight change in her expression, He knew that there should be no problem. After a while, Sima Yue withdrew her divine sense and returned the jade slip to him, saying, "There's no treasure map inside." "Nothing." Mu Si was shocked. How could there be nothing? Father clearly said that this was very important. If he disappeared, we could use this to find him. "There's a trace of consciousness left behind by your father inside," Sima Yue said. "He sealed it with a restriction so that you can enter when you're strong enough." Mu Si was a little disappointed. If this wasn't a treasure map, what right did he have to negotiate with her? "Don't be disappointed. I promise you that I'll take you to your father, but I can't guarantee that I'll be able to find him, because even he himself doesn't know what will happen when he goes there," Sima Yue said. Mu Si understood the meaning behind her words. She was saying that the future was unknown and his father might not be around anymore. Since there's no treasure map, then why did father tell others that he went to look for treasure? Mu Si didn't understand. "I think, firstly, it's to cover your tracks. Secondly, it's to protect you," Sima Yue said. Since his father was a taboo topic here, Mu Yinjie definitely couldn't brazenly say that he was going to save him. But if he wanted to go out, he had to find a reasonable reason. In addition, if something happened to him, as long as the treasure hadn't appeared, Mu Si would be fine. At least, a so-called friend like Yangzi would raise him with a purpose. However, she couldn't tell Mu Si about this right now. It would be best if she could still find Mu Yinjie. If she couldn't, then she would tell him the truth. After the commotion, they were no longer in the mood to eat. Sima Yue put away the food and took out the tables and chairs to decorate the house. Finally, it looked like a house for people to live in. There were only 2 bedrooms. After Sima Yue kicked Di Wu into Mu Si's room, she closed the door and thought about Mu Yinjie and her father. However, she didn't receive any news and couldn't think of anything. She sighed and decided to cultivate tonight. In order to ensure their safety, she casually set up a boundary around the courtyard. Then, the 3 of them either slept or cultivated. The courtyard was noisy for a while before it finally quieted down in the afternoon. Compared to the tranquil courtyard, the outside of Ghost City was in chaos. In the morning, the young master of the Zhang family was killed. In the afternoon, Meng Tianshan's life jade was broken. The 7th master of the Pang family was also dead. The young master of the Pang family was missing. He couldn't find any trace of him, even with the secret method. This series of events caused the several families to explode. If at the beginning they were still suspicious of Zhang Shuo chasing after that refugee, then now they were completely at a loss. Because there were so many guards, it wasn't something a brat could deal with. Especially Pang Qi, he was half a step into the Paragon rank. It was because he was powerful that he was sent to protect the young master. Now that he was dead and the young master was missing, they determined that the suspect was someone above the Paragon rank. However, there were many people like that in the entire Go City. It wasn't easy to find out who it was. However, no matter how difficult it was, they had to investigate. How could they let someone who dared to kill their young master, and so many guards off? Especially when it concerned their reputation, they had to investigate. The Pang family had to investigate even more because their young master's whereabouts were unknown. If it wasn't for the fact that his life jade was still intact, they would probably go berserk like the Zhang family. Zhang family's residence, meeting hall. The person who went out to investigate today was kneeling in front of the Zhang family's elder, Zhang Qi. Zhang Shua's position in the Zhang family wasn't particularly high. Although they sent people to investigate, it wasn't enough to trouble the entire elder group and the clan head. The clan head sent Zhang Qi to be in charge of this matter. It was already considered important. If it was someone else, he would probably send a steward to be in charge. "What did you find?" Zhang Qi asked. Replying to elder, "We saw young master Zhang Shua's schedule today. Everyone said that he chased that brat Mu Si to a remote place." The leader of the guards said, "Then why didn't you capture that Mu Si?" Zhang Qi asked. "That Mu Si shouldn't be. Also, his identity is special. It's not good for us to capture him." The guard replied, "Why? His father is Mu Yinjie." Hearing Mu Yinjie's name, Zhang Qi's eyes narrowed. "It's actually him." "Yes. Because of the city lord's decree, We can't easily capture Mu Si. The guard said, however, that Mu Si can't possibly kill young Master Zhang Sha. Mu Yanjie's son. Shouldn't he be more powerful? Zhang Qi asked. Replying to Elder, this Mu Si isn't Mu Yanjie's real son. He was brought back when he went outside 15 years ago. The guard said, that's why he's only a 15-year-old child. He's only been cultivating for a few years. How could he have the strength to kill so many guards and young Master Zhang Shua? Young Master Zhang Sha and a few other young masters and young mistresses from other clans would beat him half to death. Zhang Qi thought about it and eliminated Mu Si. Since he was someone without any conditions, there was no need to think too much about it. Since those people saw Zhang Shua chasing after Mu Si, then Mu Si might have discovered something. You guys go to his place and investigate. See if you can find any clues. Zhang Qi said, yes, Elder. On the second day, Sima Yue was disturbed by the movement from the enchantment. When she woke up from her meditation, Mu Si had already gone outside to walk around and came back. Her enchantment was to prevent outsiders from coming in and disturbing her, but didn't prohibit the people inside from leaving. Mu Si didn't think that he would encounter an obstruction when he entered the courtyard. He walked forward with his head lowered. When he felt the courtyard, he walked in, but he didn't expect to be blocked outside. He used all his strength to rush forward, but he was rebounded by a force and fell to the ground. He was still wondering why he couldn't enter the courtyard when a ripple flashed by. Sima Yoyue's voice was heard. Come in. Mu Si climbed up and patted the dust off his clothes. He slowly tried to enter, and this time there was nothing blocking him. Where did you go? Sima Yue opened the door and asked. I went out for a walk to see the situation outside. Mu Si said, what was that just now? Enchantment. Don't you know? Mu Si shook his head and said, my father rarely taught me these things. When I was able to cultivate, he had already disappeared. Sima Yue saw his curious eyes and couldn't help but ask, do you want to learn? Chapter 13-17. Mu Si's eyes lit up. Can I? This spirit barrier is neither difficult nor simple. If there's a chance in the future, I can pass it to you. Sima Yu said, I think father should know how to do it. You can find him and ask him to pass it to you. Mu Si knew that Sima Yue didn't have time to teach him now. If there was time in the future, he could learn from her. What did you see when you went out today? Can you get out of the city? Sima Yue asked. No. Mu Si said, it's said that something happened in the forbidden area, so the entire city was sealed. No matter if it's human or ghost, they can't get out of the city. Furthermore, Zhang clan, Meng clan, and Pang clan were searching everywhere. They interrogated whoever they caught, so there were fewer people on the streets. They didn't catch you when you went out? Di Wu asked. They caught me for a while, but they let me go when they saw that it was me. Mu Si said, you were bullied in the past, so they naturally wouldn't believe that you could kill Zhang Shua and the rest. Sima Yue said, I reckon they've already set their sights on Paragon rank and above. To be able to kill a half-step Paragon, in their opinion, it must be a half-step Paragon and above. Sima Yue said, that's good too. It can save us a lot of trouble. You're saying that they'll still find their way here? Di Wu asked. Zhang Shua chased after Mu Si and left, then he was killed. Sima Yue said, no matter if he did it or not, they'll send someone to question him. That's true. Di Wu nodded. These big clans love to vent their anger on others. They might even hang him up and beat him up. All right, stop scaring him. Sima Yue said, but Mu Si, do you know what they'll say if they find you? They'll say that they chased me to a small alley and met you there. You saved me. When we left, he was still alive. Mu Si said, sure. In any case, no one saw what happened after that. As for how that guy got to the forbidden area, how would they know? But young miss, we have to think of a reasonable identity. If not, how are we going to leave if we stay here? Di Wu said, if those people ask, just say that we were just a small family in the north of the city. We happened to pass by and saw them bullying Mu Si, so we saved him. Sima Yue said, that's all. Those people aren't fools. Why would they believe us? As long as they send someone to investigate, we'll be doomed. Di Wu said, They're busy looking for the murderer. How would they have the time to investigate us? Sima Yue said, besides, the managers of the North and the South are like fire and water. It won't be easy to investigate. How could this be? If it's someone else, it might be easier. But if it's the Zhang family, I'm afraid that they'll be stopped the moment they enter the Northern District, Sima Yue said with a smile. That's true. Isn't the Zhang family the manager of the South? The people there will definitely pay attention to them. But young miss, what if their investigation is successful? Diwu said. Then we'll be unlucky. We'll think of a way to leave by then. Sima Yue said, oh right. Have you eaten breakfast? I ate a little. Musi replied. What he didn't say was that after eating the food she made yesterday, he didn't feel like eating the buns anymore. He usually ate 3 big buns, but he only ate 1 today. You didn't eat well, right? I'll get you something to eat. Sima Yue said as she took out her cooking utensils. She cooked a pot of mixed porridge, baked a few pancakes, and fried 2 side dishes for him. Although he usually ate porridge and pancakes, but the food she made was delicious. Diwu felt that there were benefits to being with Musi. At least he could eat a lot of young Mrs. food. This was a treatment that Di Lu and even Master didn't have. But why was young Miss so nice to this guy? Especially after looking at the Jade Scroll, the way she looked at him was different. What was inside the Jade Scroll? He was very curious, but since young Miss didn't say, it was useless for him to ask. Sima Yue looked at Musi's head and felt apologetic. She felt heartache and pity for him. She didn't expect that his father went missing because he wanted to save her father. If Mu Lianjie was still alive, she could help him find his father. But if he was no longer in this world, then she would feel guilty towards him for the rest of her life. Especially when she thought about how he lived alone at such a young age and was bullied for so many years. She felt that she had to make it up to him. Musi felt her gaze and raised his head to ask, what's wrong? Nothing. Sima Yue smiled. How is it? Is it delicious? You're a boy and you're still growing. Cultivation will consume your energy. Eat more. Musi. Yangzi came in from outside and saw the 3 of them eating in the courtyard. The scene was heartwarming and made him feel a sense of danger. Uncle Yangzi, you're here. Musi smiled and waved at him, saying, see, you made some food and it's delicious. Do you want to try it? Yangzi looked at the pots and pans at the side and recognized that they were spirit weapons. He was even more guarded against Sima Yue. It does smell good, but I don't eat these things anymore. You can eat it yourself, he said as he walked over. He found that the food Sima Yue made for Musi were all spirit dishes. Even if it was just a bowl of rice, he could feel the spirit energy contained in it. This kind of thing was much more useful than the few low-grade crystal stones that he had given to her. You're called, see you? Yangzi looked at Sima Yue. Yes. Sima Yue calmly replied. Uncle Yangzi, why are you here? Did something happen outside? Musi asked. It's a mess outside. Yangzi said, the Zhang, Meng, and Pang families are catching suspicious people. Why are you still? He didn't finish a sentence, but it was obvious that he wanted to ask why he let these people stay in the house. Uncle Yangzi, see you and the rest aren't suspicious people. They're from a sea family in the north of the city. Yangzi said, see, you said that she hasn't been to the south before, so she came here to play. It's so chaotic outside. They definitely won't be able to find a place to stay. They just saved me yesterday. It's rare that they don't mind that I don't have anything here. How can I let them go? But the north and south of the city aren't on good terms. If the Zhang family finds out, it'll be even more troublesome. Yangzi said, look, the Zhang family is here. Everyone looked up and saw a group of people walking in from outside. Chapter 13:18. Sima Yue looked at those people. They were wearing Zhang family's uniform. They should be Zhang family's guards. Yangzi went forward and cupped his hands towards the leader of the guards. He smiled. Guard Peng, what brings you to the refugee camp today? So it's Yangzi, why are you here? Zhang Peng sized Yangzi up. He was wondering if this fella killed young Master Zhang Shua. Zhang Shua bullied Musi. This fella had always been on good terms with Musi. He took care of him. It was possible that he killed young Master Zhang Shuo because of him. Yangzi knew what he was thinking from his expression. He quickly explained, "Guard Peng, don't think too much. I didn't kill your family's young master." "It's really not you?" Zhang Peng didn't believe him. Now, in their eyes, anyone who could be the culprit was a suspect. "It's really not me. You can go and investigate. When young Master Zhang Shuo died, I was busy working with everyone in the shop." Yangzi said, "I will investigate." Zhang Peng snorted, "I also hope it's not you. We still have some friendship. If it's really you, then our friendship isn't enough. I will definitely capture you back." "Don't worry, it's not me. I have a witness." Yangzi smiled. "Oh right, Guard Peng, why are you here? Are you suspecting that Mu Si killed young Master Zhang Shuo? With Mu Si's ability, can he kill him?" Zhang Peng said, "I'm here under Elder Qi's orders to ask Mu Si some questions." "Is Elder Qi the one asking about this matter?" Yangzi was taken aback and asked with some surprise. "That's right. Elder Qi is the strictest among all the elders. The murderer will definitely not be able to escape." Zhang Peng said, "All right, stand aside. Don't disturb me." All right. Yangzi retreated to the side, avoiding Zhang Peng's line of sight. His gaze landed on the few people who were having breakfast. When he saw Sima Yue and Di Wu, he felt that they were unfamiliar. They were definitely not from here. He came to Di Wu and asked, "Who are you?" "Master." Di Wu was about to say something arrogant, but Sima Yue glared at him. Cough, cough. "I'm Di Wu, my lady's follower." Zhang Peng looked at Sima Yue and said, "Miss? Which family's young mistress was that? Why do you look so unfamiliar to me?" Sima Yue put down her chopsticks and smiled. "I am Si Yu, the daughter of the Si family in the north of the city." "From the north of the city?" Zhang Peng frowned. They had not seen many people from the north of the city. However, he seemed to have heard of the Si family before. It seemed to be a rather large family in the northern part of the city. It was said that they had a good relationship with the manager there. If she was really from a Si family, then she had to be careful. "Yes," Sima Yue said, "if bodyguard Peng doesn't believe me, you can send someone to investigate. I don't think anyone would dare to impersonate someone from a Si family, right?" Hearing her words, Zhang Peng was more or less convinced about her identity. Indeed, no one would dare to impersonate someone from the Si family, much less say such things after impersonating them. "Since you are Miss Si, why would you come to the north of the city and be with Mu Si?" Zhang Peng asked. Sima Yue blinked her eyes. This fellow did not doubt her at all, and his attitude was much better. Could there really be a Si family in the north of the city? Yang Zi was also stunned. Mu Si did not know about the Si family, but he did. No wonder she could take out such good furniture to cook. Sima Yue glanced at their reactions and knew that she had guessed correctly. It seemed that not only was there a Si family in the north of the city, this Si family status was not low. "Didn't I come out to play?" She smiled and said, "Coincidentally, when I walked here yesterday, I saw a group of people bullying Mu Si, so I went up to save him." "Did you kill my young master?" "Don't tell me your young master is that fatty with a big head and big ears wearing a flashy red outfit." Sima Yue said, "Young Master Zhang Shuo is indeed quite fat." Zhang Peng said, "So, you really did kill my young master?" No, I didn't kill that fatty. I hate fatty the most. I don't even want to touch a fatty when I see one. Why would I kill him?" Sima Yue said, "I only killed a few guards and saved this little fellow." "You really didn't kill my young master?" I said I didn't. It's up to you to believe it or not." Sima Yue's face darkened, and she was a little angry. "Miss Si, don't be angry. This is just a routine interrogation." Zhang Peng said, "Are you done? If you are, then hurry up and get lost. My eyes hurt just looking at you." Sima Yue was furious. She was indeed a young miss from a big family. Her spoiled temper was the same as the other young misses in the family. However, since they were outside, this kind of temperament would not be of much use, especially when she was in someone else's territory. Zhang Peng suppressed the anger in his heart and said, "Miss Si, you are the young miss of the Si family. This refugee camp is not suitable for you to stay in. My Zhang family is the manager of the southern part of the city. Since you are here, we naturally have to be the host. Why don't you move over to the Zhang family? I'm not going. Sima Yue rejected. I'm comfortable here. I don't want to move. Miss C, this place is old and run down. How can it fit you? Why don't you come with us to the Zhang family? Zhang Peng said, as long as it's pleasing to the eye and comfortable to stay, I'll be happy to stay in a place like this. Sima Yue said, I once heard from my father that the Zhang family is not very friendly. I'm afraid that I'll be bullied if I go there. So it's better for me to stay here. Miss C, don't you want me to go to the Zhang family so that they can interrogate me if I killed your young master? I'll give you peace of mind today. As she spoke, she placed her hand on her heart and said, I swear to the God of darkness that my men and I definitely did not kill Zhang Sha. We didn't even touch him. If I'm lying, let me fall into eternal hell. Then, a ray of black light entered her chest. After a while, she did not feel any discomfort. Zhang Peng did not expect this Miss C to have some brains. She knew that he did not sincerely invite her to stay and used such a method to prove her innocence. From her point of view, since Miss C came out of play, she definitely had more than one follower. There must be an expert protecting her in the dark. She did not kill anyone, but that did not mean that her guards did not kill anyone. He wanted her to go to the Zhang family to lure out the people behind her. However, he could not brazenly take her away. Now that the oath had proven her innocence, he could also eliminate her as a suspect. Miss C, you misunderstood. I didn't mean it that way. Zhang Peng said, it doesn't matter whether you meant it that way or not. Sima Yue said, I'm not like those people who think that it's okay to make an oath. If this can prove my innocence and save me a lot of trouble, I'm willing to do it. That day, I saved Mu Si and left. As for what happened to your young master, he doesn't know either. So there's nothing for you to ask. Please go back. Chapter 1319. Zhang Peng's face was red. He wanted to flare up, but when he saw Sima Yue's arrogant look, he felt guilty instead. He was smart enough to understand that he had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. A woman who could be so arrogant must have something to rely on. Mu Si went out this morning. I heard that not only was the young master of the Zhang family killed, but the young mistress of the Meng family was also killed. Oh right, a half-step supremacy from the Pang family was also killed. The young master of the Pang family also went missing. Even their secret technique couldn't track them down. Mu Si is just a child. The person you're looking for is at least a supremacy. Sima Yue said, look at Mu Si. Does he look like one? Miss Si, don't be angry. Everyone saw Mu Si with young Master Zhang Shua. That's why we came over to ask if anything suspicious happened. Zhang Peng said, since you said that you left with him, I guess you didn't see what happened after that. We still have other places to investigate, so we'll take our leave first. Take care. Sima Yue said faintly. Goodbye. Zhang Peng waved his hand, and all his subordinates retreated. He cupped his hands at Sima Yue and left as well. He didn't even look at Yang Zi. Come, continue eating. Don't let these things affect your appetite. Sima Yue put some food into Mu Si's bowl. Mu Si looked at Sima Yue. She was so domineering just now. They had only known each other for 2 days, but she had shown so many sides. She was cunning when she saved people, decisive when she killed people, warm and kind when she was nice to him, and domineering when she faced Zhang Peng. How could a person have so many sides? Well, I didn't expect you to be the young mistress of the C family. Please forgive me if I offended you. Yang Zi said, not really, but I want to stay at Mu Si's place while I'm playing in the south of the city. That shouldn't be a problem, right? Sima Yue said, no problem. Why would there be a problem? Yang Zi said, this is Mu Si's house. If he says it's okay, then there's no problem. That's good. Sima Yue smiled and looked at him. This Mu Si has always listened to you since he was young. If you say no, he can't go against it. Mu Si, your uncle Yang Zi already said that there's no problem. Can you rest assured and let me stay here now? See, what are you saying? Of course I welcome you to stay. Mu Si said, that's good. For some reason, Yang Zi felt that Sima Yue's smile was very warm when she faced Mu Si, but when she looked at him, although she was smiling, it made him feel a chill from the bottom of his heart. Could it be that she also knew about the treasure map? Mu Si, since you're fine here, I still have something to do in the shop. I'll go back first. All right, Uncle Yangzi. A trace of fear flashed across Yangzi's eyes, but he had no choice but to turn around and leave. When there was no one around, Di Wu then asked the question in his mind. Miss, how did you know that there's a Si family in the north of the city and even let this little fellow call you See? That's right. I didn't know that there's a Si family in the north of the city. Mu Si said. Sima Yue shrugged and said, I don't know either. This is probably the so-called hit the nail on the head by a fluke. From those people's reaction, this Si family should be a big family in the north of the city. If they want to investigate, they can easily find out. Di Wu said. That's true too. Sima Yue said, I originally wanted to say that it's a small family, so that they would have to spend some time to investigate. But from the looks of it, this Si family is quite famous. They could just ask directly. Didn't you say that they wouldn't have any results, even if they went to the north of the city? Mu Si was still young and didn't think so much. If Zhang family wants to send people to the north of the city to investigate, it's not easy if they don't have a target. But if they have a target, they just need to send people to ask. After all, there will always be people paying attention to big family matters. Sima Yu explained. Then aren't you in danger? Mu Si said. You're worried about me? Sima Yue supported her chin with her palm and asked with a smile. Mu Si lowered his head and said, We just met. Why would I be worried about you? I'm never worried about others. Sima Yue looked at him with a smile. This arrogant fella who said one thing and meant another was quite cute. But to be honest, Missy, if they find out that you're not here, we'll definitely be in trouble. What should we do then? Di Wu asked. Don't you know that there's a saying, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earthweir? But there are so many of them. There are probably millions of them in this city. How can we deal with them all? Di Wu said worriedly. That's true. Sima Yue sighed. Seems like we have to think of a way to leave the city. The city is sealed everywhere now. How can we leave? Mu Si said. Don't worry. Even if we're exposed, I have a way to hide from those people. Sima Yue said. If they really found out, she could just change her appearance. Anyway, with 1,000 residents around, it was just a piece of cake. Di Wu and Mu Si subconsciously believed her when they saw her confident look. It was as long as she was around, everything would be fine. Mu Si looked at her blankly. His father used to be like that too. He was very confident in everything he said. But the last time he said that he would definitely come back, he didn't come back after so many years. Father, Sima Yue saw his expression turning sad and knew that he must be thinking about his father. She said, Are you guys done eating? If you're done, let's go out for a walk. Go out for a walk. The two of them looked at her in disbelief. Yeah. Since Zhang family already knows about us, there's nothing to hide. Sima Yue said, Since we're in this city, we have to take a look around. Who knows, we might be able to discover something. That's true. Di Wu immediately became excited. Speaking of which, there are very few people from Ghost Realm who can come over. I could take a look and tell those fellows what this place looks like in the future. If not, those fellows will laugh their heads off when they know that I'm in Ghost City but know nothing. Sima Yue looked at this fellow helplessly. He always wanted to show off to his brothers. His character was really, since that's the case, I'll bring you guys out and introduce you guys. Mu Si said, All right. They packed their things and left. As Mu Si lived in the slums, there were dilapidated houses on the way out. At the same time, Zhang Peng went back to report the news to Zhang Qi. Zhang Qi was shocked when he heard that it was Si family. He kept silent for a while before saying, Send someone to Si family in the north of the city to investigate. Be careful not to make any noise. They should have been killed together. Pang Qi was a half-step supremacy. The person who killed him must be very strong. This little girl looked very young. How could it be her? That's true, but when the Zhang clan does things, they would rather kill the wrong person than let the wrong person go. Regardless of whether Mu Si had anything to do with Zhang Shua's death, he couldn't escape. Since this woman dares to be with him, I don't even need to think to know what will happen to her. This woman is really beautiful. Aren't there a few lecherous people in the Zhang family? If I'm discovered, I'm afraid I won't be able to keep my life, but I'm afraid I'll end up in an even more miserable state. Ah, you don't know about this, right? Someone laughed. I saw it this morning. What did you see? In the morning, Zhang Peng brought people to Mu Si's house. I was far away and didn't hear anything, but I saw him leave dejectedly after hearing a few words from this woman. This woman is definitely not an ordinary person. Really? Of course it's true. That person said, why don't you think about it? If not, would Mu Si dare to swagger out now? That's true. In that case, this woman has a great background? Definitely. Otherwise, how could Zhang Peng run away with his tail between his legs? What a pity. I originally wanted to capture such a beautiful girl and have some fun. Damn fatty, don't even think about it. If you go, you'll probably be castrated. You won't be able to be a man in the future. Ha ha ha. The surrounding people laughed. Although they guessed that her identity might not be ordinary, some people stopped thinking about it. However, there were too many lecherous people. There would always be some who wouldn't shed tears until they saw the coffin. Even if Mu Si wasn't strong, he could feel the wretched gazes of those people behind him. He didn't know why, but he felt a fire burning in his heart this time. Sima Yue felt that his mood wasn't right. She stopped and asked, what's wrong? Those people. Mu Si clenched his fist and glared at those people. After so many years, only she treated him well. He didn't want those people's wretched thoughts to taint her. Sima Yue glanced at those people and said, those people's eyes are on their bodies. What's the use of being angry? You can't just go up and kill them, right? But they're annoying. Mu Si said, wait until you're strong. Those people won't dare to treat you like that. They'll only be filled with fear. Sima Yue said, you can make them fear. Mu Si said with certainty. He believed that as long as she was willing, she could make those people close their eyes forever. Sometimes, fear doesn't mean you have to rush up and beat them up. Sima Yue smiled evilly. Missy, what bad idea did you come up with again? Diwu saw Sima Yue's smile and went up to her curiously. Did I? Yes. Diwu said with certainty, I heard that every time you want to do something bad, you'll smile like that. Sima Yue was speechless. She squinted her eyes and stared at him. Who said that? Di Lu and the rest. Diwu then noticed that Sima Yue's expression wasn't right. He chuckled and looked to both sides. Di Lu. When Diwu heard Sima Yue mention Di Lu's name, his heart skipped a beat. Damn it, he seemed to have tricked old Sixth. Sima Yue looked at those people and said, we've been shopping for the whole day. Let's go back. Mu Si should be hungry. They decided to go back. Sima Yue turned back and smiled at those people after walking for a distance. Then, she brought the two of them back. Sima Yue made a big meal for Mu Si for dinner. Mu Si had never eaten such delicious food before. Plus, he was hungry, so he ate to his heart's content. Diwu benefited a lot from it. Sima Yue was in a good mood when she thought about what happened tonight, so she ate quite a lot too. After eating, she kept the food and said, we have guests tonight. We have to take good care of them. Guests? Who? Sima Yue smiled. You'll know when the time comes. // // Chapter 13:21. When they were resting at night, Sima Yue set up another barrier. It was the opposite of the one last night. This one only allowed people to enter and not leave. Then, he set up 2 more arrays, which made Mu Si stunned. How many things did she know? Late at night, Sima Yue woke up from her meditation. She got off the bed and wore her shoes. Then she waited for the people outside the courtyard to come in. Why are you here too? Damn fatty, didn't you say you're not coming? You stinky old man. Since you're here, why can't I be here too? Tramp is here too. There are quite a lot of people here tonight. What should we do? Do we have to decide who's the winner now? Are you stupid? We sneaked in here. How can we let others know? If we make too much noise, it'll be troublesome. That's true. But there are 3 of us. How are we going to split? Let's capture her first. It's not like we haven't enjoyed a woman together before. We can do it again later. Hee hee. That's not bad, too. Someone else is here. Before the three of them entered, two more black figures came over. TSK, there are quite a lot of people here tonight. Those two will definitely snatch from us when they come. Let's go in and take her away. They did not push the gate that was on the verge of collapsing. Instead, they jumped over the fence and flew in. When the two people in the distance saw that three people had already flown in, they became anxious. They sped up and ran over, leaping into the sky. But the two of them were stunned the moment they entered. They saw Sima Yue smiling as she sat in front of her room. Diwu and Mu Si were standing on both sides of her. Welcome to Mu Si's house. Sima Yue looked at the five of them who were frozen in the courtyard. Array? You're an array master? Their faces turned ugly. If they had known that she was an array master, then even if they had lecherous thoughts, they wouldn't have dared to do this. Look at your expressions. Sima Yue said, Why? If I'm not an array master, are you going to take action tonight? Even if you're an array master, this array won't be able to trap us. Then you can try. Sima Yue said, If you can get out of my array, I will spare your lives tonight. I'll let you leave. Ha ha ha, arrogant brat. Do you know who we are? Stinky old ghost laughed. Who else could it be? They're just a bunch of perverts. Sima Yue said, Even if you don't know, the brat beside you definitely knows. Brat, tell her, who are your grandpas? Fatty said. Their nicknames are Damn Fatty, Stinky Old Ghost, and Tramp. The three of them are known as the Sex Demon Trio. There are at least 8,000, if not 10,000 women who have been defiled by their hands. Mu Si said, The other two have lesser reputations, but they are also famous for raping women. See, I told you they were just perverts. Sima Yue said. Out of the five of them, 4 of them are peak monarch ranked experts. One of them is a half-step paragon. Mu Si added, They are indeed stronger when grouped together. No wonder they did so many bad things. Sima Yue said, But it's a pity you guys aren't paragon yet, so you can't get out of this array. Little girl, just wait for us to come out and take you out to enjoy yourself. Then I'll wait and see. Sima Yue said, The night is long. Mu Si, are you hungry? Do you want some supper? Sure. The one who replied was Diwu. Mu Si didn't say that he wanted to eat, but he didn't say that he didn't want to either. Sima Yue knew that he was thinking about it. It's best to eat barbecued meat and drink wine at night. That's what enjoyment is. Sima Yue said, Wait for it, little Mu Si. Mu Si didn't have any reaction or calling him that. He protested during the day, but it was useless, so he just let her be. Sima Yue took out the barbecue rack and prepared ingredients and started a barbecue. The ingredients were all prepared, and very soon, the aroma of the barbecued meat floated out, causing the gluttonous worm in that damn fatty's stomach to turn. This array is so hard to deal with. It can't be destroyed with spiritual power. He attacked the array fiercely, but no matter what they did, the array was still intact. Mu Si heard the commotion they made and said, See you, if you let these people attack like this, will it attract others? No, I've set up a barrier outside. It can isolate spiritual power and sound. The people outside won't notice what's happening here. The barrier is so powerful. Of course. Diwu said, Little Mu Si, you're still young and don't have much contact. When you grow up, you'll see more things. You'll realize that this world is very interesting. Mu Si's heart was hooked. He started to be more curious about the world, and he wasn't just waiting here for his father to come back. Sima Yue quickly barbecued a few big plates of barbecued meat. The remaining ingredients were placed there. She would get more if there wasn't enough. Sima Yue opened a jar of fruit wine for Mu Si, then opened a jar of strong liquor for Diwu. Before they drank, they heard a gasp from outside. Smells so good. The aroma of barbecued meat and wine. Missy slowed down. Creak bang. Mu Si watched as his gate fell to the ground, and a woman walked in with a servant. The lady saw the people who were trapped in the courtyard. She asked curiously, They're trapped by an array? What a strange courtyard. Missy, it's dangerous. The old servant walked to her side and looked at the people in the courtyard vigilantly. Yeah, there's indeed good food. The lady saw Sima Yue and the rest in the courtyard. She ran over and sat down without any reservation. "Hello, may I ask if I can eat this?" The lady asked. "You may." Sima Yue nodded. She had been watching the lady since she came in. Although she was very fast just now, she actually avoided her array accurately. This person was an array master who was proficient in arrays. "Hebo, this barbecued meat is delicious." The lady ate a few mouthfuls and said to the old servant, "Come, try it too." Missy. Hebo was helpless. Missy was too careless. How could she casually eat when she didn't even know this person? What if something went wrong? "Eat it, it's really delicious." The lady pulled Hebo to sit beside her. Sima Yue looked at her. She wondered which family's Missy was so daring. "Wow, this wine smells so good, it's so delicious." The lady carried Mu Si's wine jar and drank it. "Wow, barbecue meat with good wine, it feels so good." Sima Yue looked at her and asked, "I wonder if this Missy—" "Don't call me Missy, just call me Siyu." PFFFD Wu and Mu Si spat out the wine in their mouths. Chapter 1322. Fortunately, at the last moment, Di Wu and Mu Si tilted their heads to the side and spat all the wine onto the ground. Only then was the table full of roasted meat preserved. Sima Yue's hand froze in midair. "What did you say your name was?" Di Wu looked at Siyu like he was looking at an alien. "This lady will never change her name, Siyu." Siyu lifted her chin and said proudly, "Don't tell me you're the young miss of the Si family in the north of the city." How did you know?" Siyu looked at them curiously. "No one knows that I came out to play." Di Wu and Mu Si looked at her in shock before looking at Sima Yue. This was too much of coincidence. "What's wrong?" Siyu looked at them. These three people's gazes were too strange. Cough, cough. "Nothing." Sima Yue coughed twice and said, "We're just curious why a lady from the north of the city like you would come to the south of the city." "Of course." Siyu said, "I'm tired of playing there and want to see what other places are like. That's why I came out for a walk." "How long have you been out?" "It wasn't that long, about a year." Siyu said, "I only went to the east of the city for a while. But you also know that there is nothing fun in the east of the city, so I came to the south of the city." Not long." Sima Yue lowered her head and drank a mouthful of wine to hide her embarrassment. This time, she was really embarrassed. Her random identity turned out to be real, and she met the real person in less than a day. She was probably the only one who could meet this kind of person. "I haven't asked your names yet." "I'm Di Wu, this fellow is Mu Si." Di Wu said, "What about you?" Siyu looked at Sima Yue and asked. Sima Yue wanted to make up a name, but seeing Siyu's bright eyes, she said, "I'm Sima Yue." "Ah, I'm Siyu, and you're Sima Yue. Our names are quite similar," Siyu said excitedly. Of course it's similar. Otherwise, why would the front and back of my name be your name?" Siyu felt close to Sima Yue because of their similar names. However, Hebo, who was sitting at the side, was deep in thought. "By the way, Yue, who made this barbecued pork? It tastes so good. I've never eaten such delicious roasted pork before." Siyu ate the roasted pork and drank a mouthful of fruit wine. She was in a good mood. This feeling was simply too wonderful. "I did it. We're going to watch a good show tonight. I was bored, so I made some mousse for supper," Sima Yue said. "You did all of this. Is this wine yours too?" I did it when I had nothing to do." Sima Yue impolitely snatched away little Spirit's credit. "Wow, you're amazing. Your cooking is so much better than mine." Siyu was truly impressed. As a rare glutton in the Si family, she knew how to cook as well. However, the food that she thought was delicious could not be compared to the roasted pork and wine in front of her eyes. With her joining in, the roasted pork on the table was quickly finished. Sima Yue looked at the few pieces of roasted pork and stood up. "I'll go make some more for you guys." Sure. I'll also see how you make it." Siyu said, "Can I see this?" "Of course, it's not a secret." Sima Yue came to the roasting rack and lit up the charcoal. When the charcoal turned red, she then placed the roasted pork on it to roast. Siyu had been watching from the start. She watched every step carefully and compared it with her usual method. She realized that Siyu's method was much better than hers. Are you planning to leave these people hanging? She looked at the 5 people in the array and asked, why aren't you curious about who they are? Sima Yue asked. From the moment they came in, her attention was on the roasted pork and wine. She did not even mention the people in the array. Although I don't know who they are, I know what they do. Siyu said, I only followed them in the afternoon because I heard that they were going to snatch a beauty. I wanted to be a hero and save the beauty, but I didn't expect you guys to settle it yourself. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows and looked at her in surprise. She was wondering why a lady like her would come to the slums like Mu Si. So she followed these people. Hey, Yue, these people are here for you. Have you thought of how to deal with them? Siyu asked. Sima Yue asked as she brushed the seasoning on the roasted pork. If it were you, what would you do? Siyu thought about it seriously and said seriously, if it were me, I would chop off their limbs, dig out their eyeballs, cut off their tongues and ears, and make them into human swine. Then I would apply poison on their wounds and let worms grow on their wounds. They would crawl and crawl every day until the worms sucked their blood dry. Only then would they die. Sima Yoyue's forehead was dripping with cold sweat. She thought that Siyu was a kind-hearted lady. This answer was out of her expectations. It seemed like there was no such thing as a good person in Ghost City. Yue, what do you think of my idea? She winked at Sima Yue and asked, I don't know about your idea, but don't you think that thinking like this will affect your appetite? Sima Yue asked, really? So you didn't think so? Anyway, I won't be looking at them when I eat. It won't affect my appetite. Sima Yue laughed and shook her head. What a pure and heartless woman. You haven't told me your plans. Siyu asked. I don't have any plans. Sima Yue said, I told them that if they can walk out of my array, I'll spare their lives tonight. If they can't walk out, their lives will be mine when the sun rises. I'll make sure that anyone who tries to harm me will have a worthy ending. Your array is so complicated. Even if I go in, I might not be able to come out in one night. They don't know anything about arrays. They probably won't be able to come out for the rest of their lives. Siyu said confidently. When the people in the array heard her words, their faces turned even brighter. This Siyu was able to come in and not be trapped in the array. This meant that she had some attainments in arrays. They had been attacking the array for so long, and there was no improvement. Now that she said that, they couldn't help but feel restless. Sima Yue quickly roasted a few plates of barbecued potatoes. Siyu ate happily again. Mu Si ate with Siyu because he didn't eat much just now. He was still a little hungry. Miss, since they can't come out, we don't have to guard here anymore, right? Diwu wanted to rest after eating his fill. There's no hurry. There are guests visiting tonight. Let's wait patiently. As she spoke, she took out some sunflower seeds and other snacks. Chapter 1323. There's more. Let's wait, there should be more. Sima Yue said leisurely. She felt more than a few stares when she went out in the day. There's so many perverts in Ghost City, so there must be more than a few of them. Especially here, it's a slum district. There must be a lot of people who want to come here without any background. Siyu continued. Sometimes identity is also a form of intimidation. Cough, cough. Sima Yue choked and quickly drank a mouthful of fruit wine. Didn't she use her identity to intimidate Zhang Peng in the day? If she knew about this, she didn't know how she would react. She felt a little awkward towards this genuine person who suddenly appeared. As expected, there were a few groups of people who came that night. When the sky turned bright, there were already more than 10 people trapped in the array, and every one of them was a powerful person. Yue, it's already bright. I don't think anyone will come. Siyu reminded. I think those who want to come should be here already. Sima Yue continued. More than 10 people came in one night. Should I be happy with my attractiveness? I rarely admit that others are prettier than me, but if it was me today, I'm afraid there wouldn't be so many either. Siyu said. This was also admitting that Sima Yue was more attractive than her. She had only gone for a walk on the streets, and she had already attracted so many people. If she really went out to do something, half of the city would probably go crazy for her. Besides, there were so many perverts these days. Missy, how should we deal with them? Diwu asked. Human swine, Siyu shouted excitedly. Sima Yue pursed her lips. This fellow wasn't joking last night. But she wasn't interested in human swine. Let's give them all to Huahua. Who's Huahua? Siyu asked. A dog that eats people. The dog is here. Sima Yue pointed at Di Wu. But he doesn't eat people. I'm a hellhound, not a dog. Di Wu shouted. Dog, isn't it just a dog? Siyu blinked her large eyes and asked. Di Wu was speechless. Although it was the same word, there is a huge difference, all right? A real man does not fight with a woman. He could at least drink. But who is Huahua? Siyu wasn't interested in the difference between a dog and a dog, but she was very interested in the Huahua that wanted to eat a large group of experts. Huahua is my contracted beast. Sima Yue said, Huahua, come out and meet Siyu. When Huahua came out, her petite figure attracted Siyu's attention. Yue, are you going to let such a small person eat so much? Won't you stuff her to death? Siyu shouted. Who? Di Wu spat again. Bloated to death? Ha ha ha. He wiped the wine from the corner of his mouth and laughed. How could she be stuffed to death with just a few people? Even if there are 100 more, she won't die. Why? Siyu looked at Huahua in confusion. With such a small body, how could it eat so many people? These people are so strong. Can Huahua eat them all? Mu Si asked worriedly. The strength of these people was much higher than Zhang Shua's guards. If they resisted, it would be difficult to successfully take them down. It's indeed difficult to eat them directly. Sima Yue said, but Xiao Mu Mu, sometimes it's difficult to do. You have to think of a way, understand? What way do you have? Siyu asked. It's simple. Sima Yue took out a bottle. The sky is turning bright. We have to hurry. She threw the bottle into the array. When those people saw the bottle, they subconsciously glanced at it. Smells so good, what's this? Good stuff. Sima Yue said, it's something that will make you all obediently get eaten. Wah, it's poison, Siyu exclaimed. Use poison to make them fall and make them unable to fight back. This is a good idea. It's poisonous and treacherous. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. What did she mean by poisonous and treacherous? But they're so strong. If you want to make them fall, the poison must be strong. Siyu reminded. No problem. Sima Yue said confidently. Very quickly, those people in the array fell one after another. They all looked at her in disbelief. Huahua eat them. Someone's coming. Sima Yue said. Okay. Huahua nodded. She stretched out her hands, and 2 vines flew out from her sleeves. Then more than 10 vines spread out. On each vine, there was a flower that was as tall as a person. Man-eating flower king. Hibo immediately recognized Huahua's identity. Sima Yue removed the array, and Huahua took one flower after another. In a few seconds, all of them were sucked into the flowers. Then, she kept them. Sima Yue gave the antidote to them when she was talking, so they were all fine now. Seeing the man-eating flower king, Hibo was shocked. Siyu jumped up in shock and jumped to Huahua's side, saying, So you're the man-eating flower king? I've only seen it in books. I didn't expect to see it in real life today. Huahua used her mind, and those Huahua slowly shrunk. Then, those vines all retracted back into her arms. Hey, don't be in such a hurry. Let me see your vines again. Siyu grabbed Huahua's hand and said. Huahua was shocked by Siyu's agitation. She immediately shrank to Sima Yue's side. Are you afraid of me? Siyu was shocked. Not afraid. Sima Yue said, Huahua isn't used to outsiders touching her. She's afraid that she won't be able to control herself and will hurt you. That means that she's not afraid of me. She's disgusted with me. Siyu said dejectedly. Hee, you could say that. Sima Yue added in her heart. She went up and kept those array stones. This way, the courtyard looked no different from last night. Oh, one night passed just like that. Siyu stretched lazily. I thought there would be a huge battle last night. I didn't expect you to settle it so easily. Seeing you like this, you seem rather bored. Sima Yue said. I'm not bored. Siyu smiled. If we didn't hear these people on the streets saying that they were going to rape you, we wouldn't have followed them. We wouldn't have eaten such delicious barbecued meat and fruit wine. I miss Siyu. Zhang Peng brought people in from outside. He subconsciously looked at the courtyard, but didn't see any traces of blood. I heard that someone tried to do something to you here. Are you all right? Sima Yoyue's heart skipped a beat. Oh no, she was going to be exposed. Chapter 1324. It wasn't that Sima Yue and the others didn't expect those people to appear so early, but now wasn't the time to think about it. As long as Siyu opened her mouth, her identity would be exposed. Di Wu and Mu Si looked at Siyu nervously, praying that she wouldn't speak. Miss Siyu, are you all right? Zhang Peng looked at Sima Yue and asked. Sima Yue glanced at Siyu. Although Siyu's eyes were filled with shock, she didn't say anything. This made Sima Yue more confident. I'm fine. I just couldn't sleep last night because of some mosquitoes. She turned to Zhang Peng and asked, Why are you here? I heard the news early this morning that some people have bad intentions towards you. I was worried about your safety, so I came over to take a look. It's good that you're all right. Zhang Peng said, I'm her sister, Siqin. Siyu took the initiative to introduce. I received news that my younger sister came to the south of the city, so I came to look for her. So you're also the young mistress of the Si family. Nice to meet you. Zhang Peng said, Nice to meet you. Siyu replied, Little sister, father told me to bring people to protect you. We can't be so carefree anymore. You won't reject father's intentions, right? Sima Yoyue's mouth twitched. What was this Missy trying to do? She subconsciously glanced at River Earl. Aren't you going to control your miss? Nevertheless, River Earl was taking a nap with his eyes slightly narrowed. Miss loved to play. Except for dangerous situations, River Earl wouldn't care about what she wanted to do. This was also the reason why out of so many people, Miss was only willing to bring him along. Little sister, if you don't let me follow you and insist on chasing me back, the next one to come will be father. Why? Do you want father to call you back? Siyu winked at Sima Yue. Sima Yue gritted her teeth. It was a blatant threat. However, Zhang Peng was present, so she couldn't refute. She could only nod and say, If you want to stay, then stay. There's so many bad people outside. With me here, you'll be much safer. Siyu said pointedly. Zhang Peng thought she was talking about what happened last night. He wondered how much they knew about it. Miss Si, I still have to investigate young Master Zhang Shua's murderer, so I'll take my leave first. After saying that, he cupped his hands at the crowd and led his men out. They walked for a long time before Zhang Peng stopped and looked back at Mu Si's house. Leader, none of the people who went in last night came out. A guard beside him said, and there was no sound at all. We didn't find any traces of blood when we went in just now. To be able to quietly dispose of so many experts, it seems like there are indeed experts protecting them inside. Zhang Peng said. They had also unintentionally found out that a group of perverts had set their sights on Sima Yue last night. Hence, they wanted to use this opportunity to test if Sima Yue was protected by an expert. At the end of the day, they were still suspicious of her. However, they did not expect that she would only use an array and poison to knock everyone out. There were no guards hidden in the dark at all. So many experts disappeared without a sound. Hence, it was best not to provoke a professional master, especially one with offensive abilities like an array master or a poison master. Since the results were similar to what they expected, there was no need for them to waste their energy here. Let's go. He led his men and left. He had truly given up on the idea of testing Sima Yue. In the courtyard, after Zhang Peng and the rest left, Siyu circled Sima Yue twice and said, No wonder you all reacted so strangely when you found out my name last night. So you've been impersonating my name. Tell me, what's going on? Actually, it's a coincidence. Sima Yue shrugged. Yesterday morning, when Zhang Peng brought his men over, he found out that I was with Mu Si. Mu Si was also implicated in Zhang Shua's murder, so he interrogated me. I thought that the north of the city was far from the south, so I made up a story and said that I was from the Si family in the north of the city. Who knew that there really was a Si family in the north of the city, and there really was a young miss from the Si family who came out to play. What was even more unexpected was that you all actually came here. When Siyu heard this, she was stunned for a moment before laughing out loud. Ha ha! Oh my God, there's actually such coincidence. The probability of this happening is too small. I also thought that it was almost impossible. Sima US said, but didn't it happen? She sighed in her heart. If she used Siyu's name to do something earth-shattering, she would be fine if the main character came knocking on her door. But this kind of direct encounter was really rare. But we also didn't expect that there really was a C family in the north of the city. The C family really did have a young miss who was low-key and playful. She added, I can roughly guess that you used the first and last words of your name, so it became my name. Siyu wasn't angry at Sima Yue for impersonating her. But why didn't you tell him your name? Is there some unspeakable secret? I have many secrets, Sima Yue said. Really? I love digging up other people's secrets. Siyu said, Xiao Mu Mu, do you still have a room here? Are you really going to stay? Sima Yue asked. Didn't we agree, just now? You said it was up to me. Siyu looked at her, as if she dared to go back on her words. But we just met. Aren't you afraid that I'm a bad person? If I do something bad, I'll drag you down with me? Sima Yue said. Really? You want to do something bad? Siyu looked at her with sparkling eyes. Sima Yue saw that she wasn't worried or afraid, but excited and excited. She asked instinctively, What do you want to do? Nothing, I'm just asking. Siyu went forward and hugged Sima Yue's shoulders, giggling. Yue, I realize that you're my type. I like people who have secrets and like to do bad things. You don't even know my identity and what I want to do. Aren't you afraid that I'll harm you? Sima Yue asked. No, this is more exciting. Siyu didn't mind at all. She liked it. Sima Yue looked at Yibo, hoping that he would persuade Siyu, but that old man was still the same. He didn't seem to have any intention of objecting. Anyway, he supported whatever Miss liked to play. You don't have to be like this. It's good to have me around. Siyu said, If something happens, you can still rely on Siyu, right? I want to think that way, but I'm afraid that I won't be able to rely on this big tree. Instead, I'll be dragging myself into the pit. Sima Yue said her thoughts honestly. Reading background default settings classic light, blue classic light, gray classic green classic bright, yellow dark blue ocean autumn abundant green classic elegant red powder aristocratic family red talk thick sea vast sky broken heart past snow white world gray world font color default settings white red green blue brown font size default settings small medium large speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0 mouse scrolling explanation 1 to 10. 1 is the slowest. 10 is the fastest. Chapter 1325. When Siyu heard her say that, she giggled and said, Don't say that. I won't cause you any trouble. I just want to see how you're going to play. Please search to see the most complete. It's the fastest. Sima Yue couldn't help but roll her eyes at her, thinking, Look at River Earl. You can tell how untrustworthy you are. I'm very grateful that you didn't expose me today, but I really have something to do. Don't worry. I promise I won't reveal anything about you. Siyu patted her chest. I don't think you even believe your own words. Sima Yue said. That's not it. I'm actually a very reliable person. As long as I promise that I won't tell anyone, I won't. Siyu said. Sima Yue actually wanted to say that they weren't close, but the fact that she had accidentally used Sima Yue's identity was her weakness. If Sima Yue really told others about it, it would definitely affect her. Now that she couldn't leave the city, it was really, You really want to go with me? Yes. If I find that it's not fun, I'll leave and continue to lend you my identity. How is it? Not bad, right? Siyu looked as if she had taken advantage of her. It's not bad, Sima Yue said, but if you really want to follow me, you have to listen to me. If you can't do it, then you have to leave now. Little sister, you're really heartless. How can you say that you want me to leave so easily? You really hurt big sister's heart. Is this your room? I'll be staying with you from now on, Siyu said as she entered Sima Yue's room. In this way, he tacitly agreed with her words. Di Wu and Mu Si looked at her. Did she really agree to let Siyu follow them? Sima Yue shrugged helplessly. Do you think we can chase them away? After this night of interaction, they roughly understood Siyu's temper. She was easy to get along with, but that was only if he followed her wishes. But if you don't go along with her, she will let you experience what it means to be an unruly young lady. But if she follows us, won't she hinder our plans? Diwu said. I hope not, Sima Yue said. She didn't have much confidence in having such an uncertain factor by her side, but she had always been a person who would deal with whatever came her way. If Siyu wanted to cause trouble, she wouldn't be soft-hearted. No matter what happened, nothing could stop her from saving her father. All right, you've been up all night. Musi, eat something and rest. She only made a simple breakfast. Siyu's nose was better than Diwu's when it came to food. She came out the moment she smelled the fragrance. Wow, I didn't expect to have breakfast. She sat in front of the dining table and looked at the simple yet sumptuous breakfast on the table. She said, Xiao Mumu, you're so lucky to have someone willing to make soup for you to wash your hands. Go away, what are you talking about? Sima Yue rolled her eyes. She could not simply say that she was washing her hands to make soup. Little sister, you're so free to make breakfast so early in the morning. Si said, Xiao Mumu hasn't reached the stage where she can't eat. She has to eat 3 meals a day. Sima Yue said, What's your plan after breakfast? Siyu asked. Let Musi rest, I'll go out for a walk. Sima Yue sat down to eat after she finished cooking. I'll bring you out for a walk. I've been here for a while, so I know a little about this place. Siyu volunteered to be the tour guide. Sima Yue looked at her in confusion. This fellow was so kind to bring her out? Don't look at me like that. Siyu continued. I'm just curious about you, but you do need to go out for a walk. Since I'm more familiar with this place, I could be your tour guide. Up to you, Sima Yue said. Then it's decided. After breakfast, Musi went to sleep while the others went out. Sima Yue and Siyu walked in front while Hebo and Diwu walked behind. It seemed like Siyu wasn't lying. She did know a little about this place. At least she was more familiar with it than her. But to Musi, who had been on the streets since he was young, she was far behind. After they walked for a while, Siyu suddenly said mysteriously, I'll bring you to a place. Where to? You'll know when we get there. Siyu said. Sima Yue followed Siyu to the mysterious place. The more she walked, the more familiar the building was. Finally, she recognized where it was. Why did you bring me to the forbidden area? You know about the forbidden area? Siyu continued. I heard that there are treasures here, so I came to take a look. Didn't you say that it's because of the chaos in the forbidden area that the city is sealed? Maybe we can help you get out earlier after we figure this place out. Actually, I'm a little confused. Why would the forbidden area prohibit people from going out? Sima Yue asked. I heard someone in my family mention it once. Siyu continued. It seems like there's a lifeline below the forbidden area that affects the entire ghost city. If this lifeline is broken, the entire ghost city will cease to exist. It's that important? Sima Yue was a little surprised. She thought that this was just an ordinary forbidden area with some kind of treasure hidden inside. That's right. I don't know what happened in the past few years, but it seems like there's always something happening in the forbidden area. My father and the rest came here many times. Siyu said, Then do you know what caused it? Sima Yue asked, That's not right. Isn't Ghost City in midair? There's nothing below. It's Qi. Siyu continued. Because of the support of Qi, that's why Ghost City exists. So I'm guessing that this lifeline will affect the Qi. But it's weird. It was fine before. Why is it so chaotic recently? Then you'll know when you go and check it out. Sima Yue said. What do you mean by check it out? You're not coming with me? I still have things to do. Sima Yue continued. Moreover, this ghost city has nothing to do with me. I don't want to take the risk and go to such a place. After she finished speaking, she wanted to go back. Her purpose of coming here was to find her father. If she got involved because of this, she would lose more than she gained. Aren't you curious at all? Siyu asked. Curiosity depends on the situation. Sima Yue continued. Haven't you heard of the saying, curiosity killed the cat? You can't say that. Siyu continued. If you're not curious about anything in life, then what's the point of living? If you're still interested in this place after I'm done with my things, I'll come with you. Sima Yue said. Suddenly, she felt a movement in her little realm. Once she connected, she realized that it was caused by Xiao Tong. this book came from. Chapter 1326. Because Ibo was there, Sima Yue didn't contact the inside immediately. Instead, she returned to Mu Si's house. Although Siyu was very interested in the forbidden grounds, she didn't enter rashly. She still needed a few more days to do so. When they went back, it was already half-night. Mu Si was still waiting for them to come back with the lights on. "Why aren't you asleep yet?" Sima Yue asked. "Waiting for you." Mu Si said. "Have you eaten?" "I went out to buy something to eat." Mu Si said. What he didn't say was that after eating the food she made for the past 2 days, it tasted really bad. However, he wasn't the kind of person who would forget the hardships of the past after living a good life. Although those big steamed buns tasted bad, he still ate them all. "Go and rest then," Sima Yue said. "How was your spin today?" It was rare for Mu Si to take the initiative to ask about her situation. It meant that he had gradually accepted her after getting along with her for the past 2 days. "It's all right. I'm a little tired, so I'm going to rest first." With that, she went back to her room. Before Siyu came in, she contacted the people in the Little Realm. "Little Tong, what's wrong?" "Big Sister Yue, did you come into contact with someone or go somewhere?" Xiao Tong asked. "Yes, what's wrong?" "Today, I had a feeling that I could sense your father's aura." Little Tu said, "Either you're close to where your father is, or you've met someone related to him. This person, like Mu Si, will affect you." "You mean, Siyu?" Sima Yue asked. "I don't know her name, but there must be something related to your father today." Xiao Tong said. "I had to get to know a young lady from a big family. Don't call it a special place today. It's that forbidden area." Sima Yue said, "That forbidden area has always been there. Father shouldn't have anything to do with it." "Then it's Siyu?" This meant that she really had to keep Siyu by her side? "That's very likely," Little Helper said. "It's a pity that I'm not as good as Master. I can clearly calculate what it is." "You're already very powerful." "Thank you," Sima Yue said gratefully. "By the way, Sister Yue, Wu Lingyu's condition isn't too good. He didn't want us to tell you, but I still think it's better to let you know." "What's wrong with him?" Sima Yue became nervous. "I can feel his power disappearing." Little Child said. "How is his health?" "My body is fine," Little Helper said. Sima Yue heaved a sigh of relief and said, "Okay, I got it. Thank you, Xiao Tong." "Yue, are you all right? When are you letting us out?" Sima Lu Feng asked. "Uncle Flowing Wind, you're not Dark Spirit Masters, so you'll attract a lot of attention if you come out. I'm still investigating my father. When I find him, I'll let you out." "All right, Siyu is coming in. Let's talk later." Sima Yue cut off the connection after she finished speaking so that she wouldn't have to answer them. When Siyu entered, she happened to see Sima Yue open her eyes and said, "Did I disturb your meditation?" "You didn't. I'm just a little tired, so I had to rest for a while." Sima Yue said, "That's true. I didn't rest last night and went out for a whole day today." Siyu waved her hand and a bed appeared by the wall, facing Sima Yue's bed. It was a good thing that this room was big enough. It was a good thing that other than Sima Yue's bed, there was nothing else. If not, it would be impossible to place 2 beds. Siyu washed up and climbed on her own bed. She didn't look like she was sprawled out on all fours. It's really hard to have sex with everyone when you're like this. Sima Yue maintained her cross-legged position with both hands casually placed on her knees. Siyu turned sideways and supported her head with one hand, saying, "My father also said that I don't look proper. But my mother passed away not long after giving birth to me. I'm the only daughter and the rest are all sons, so he treasures me very much. Every time he says it, I'll just let it pass." "Then you must be very happy," Sima Yue said. "How do you know?" "Because although you're a little, but your eyes are filled with happiness. There's no sadness, which means that you're living a very happy life." Sima Yue said, "And I have a few older brothers, so I know how it feels to be the youngest and only sister." "Really?" Siyu blinked. "Then where are your brothers? Why aren't they with you?" "They're not here," Sima Yue said. "Oh, I remember now. You're not from Ghost City, right?" Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. "Why did she talk about this?" "When we were in the Forbidden Grounds today, you said that the Forbidden Grounds and Ghost Cities matters had nothing to do with you. You're not worried about these things at all. You're definitely not from Ghost City. See, you said with certainty, and you used an alias and stole your identity, which means that you just came here. You don't want others to find out about your identity. Sima Yue smiled and did not reply. I guess correctly. You're very good at analyzing things. Sima Yue admitted. Then why did you come to Ghost City? To the Ghost Realm? Sima Yue hesitated whether she should tell her about herself. But Siyu took her silence as a yes. I say, you're not really going to the Ghost Realm, are you? Siyu sat up, saying, you should go back and use other methods to go to the Ghost Realm. Don't pass through here, it's too dangerous. I've seen it with my own eyes before. Some people wanted to go to the Ghost Realm, some from the Ghost Clan wanted to go to the Human Realm, but they were all buried in the lightning tribulation. None of them survived. You're still so young. Don't lose your life for nothing. I'm serious. Siyu said, this lightning tribulation is not so easy to pass. It's our nemesis. It's much harder for us to pass the lightning tribulation than for those light attribute spirit masters. Even if they don't dare to try, you should just not go. Sima Yue saw that she was anxious and spoke faster. She smiled and said, don't worry, I didn't say that I wanted to go to the Ghost Realm. Didn't you want to pass through here to go to the Ghost Realm? Siyu asked. I can't go to the Ghost Realm now. Sima Yue said, I'm here to look for someone. Look for someone? My father came here a few decades ago. Now, his whereabouts are unknown. I was told that my father is here, so I came here. That's why I came. Sima Yue said, so you're here to look for your father. Siyu heaved a sigh of relief, saying, who's your father? What did he come here? What did he come here for? He should be passing by, but he didn't go over. He should still be here. Then you'll be hard to find. Siyu said Ghost City is so big. Without any clues, it'll be harder than finding a needle in a haystack. Do you have any clues about him? Yes. What is it? Sunset Mountain. Siyu was shocked. She looked at her and said in disbelief, what did you say? Chapter 1327. It was Sima Yue's first time seeing Siyu so surprised. She asked, what's wrong with Mushan? How do you know about Mushan? Siyu asked. I heard it from someone else. Sima Yue continued. Is there anything wrong with Mushan? Of course there's something wrong. Mushan isn't a place where ordinary people can go, let alone live there. Siyu continued. I heard that it's related to the survival of Ghost City, and there's an almighty guarding it. How did your father get involved with that place? Most people don't even know about that place because those who went there were killed. Then how did you know? Sima Yue didn't expect Mushan to be so mysterious. How did her father get involved with that place? If it wasn't because our family has a good relationship with Ant-Man, and she dotes on me a lot, I wouldn't know about Mushan. Siyu said. Sima Yue knew that Ant-Man should be the city's North manager, Wu Man. As the city's North manager and the old witch's right-hand man, Wu Man definitely knew about Mushan. No wonder Siyu knew about it. Yue, what did you hear about Mushan? Don't tell me your father is in Mushan. I have an uncle. He said he went to Mushan to save my father. So I think he should be there. Sima Yue said. At the same time, her heart sank. She had her father's life token, so she knew that her father was still alive. But what about Mu Yinjia? He went to that place and didn't come back for so many years. Was he still alive? If he wasn't around and Mu Si was still so young, what would he do in the future? If your father is really there, it won't be easy for you to save him. Siyu continued. No, I should say, if your father is there, are you sure he's still alive? Sima Yue took out Sima Lu Xian's life token. Siyu could tell at a glance. Although it's full of cracks, he's not dead. Is this your father's life token? Yeah. How long has it been? It's been a few decades. It hasn't been repaired, and it's not completely broken. Sima Yue said. Siyu burst out laughing. A few decades? You're saying that your father has been injured for decades and hasn't died yet? Yes. Then your father is a god. What's your father like? Siyu asked with a face full of worship. Being injured for dozens of years without dying was not something an ordinary person could do. I don't have any impression of my father either. He sent me to this family not long after I was born. Sima Yue said. So, those brothers of yours aren't your real brothers? That's right. Although I'm not their biological child, they all love me very much. In the past, when I couldn't cultivate and was called trash by others, they would help me beat those people up. They couldn't bear to see me suffer. Thinking of her brothers, a happy smile appeared on her face. Seems like your brothers really dote on you. Siyu said, but speaking of which, how do you plan to save your father? I need to find out if he's at Sunset Mountain. If he's not there, I won't be able to find him even if I go. Sima Yue said. Yes, I'll go after confirming it. Don't go to Sunset Mountain if you can. Siyu said, for someone as curious as me, I don't even want to go there. You could tell how dangerous that place is. I understand, Sima Yue said. What she didn't say was that no matter if her father was there or not, she might have to go to Sunset Mountain because Mu Yinjie went there to save her father and didn't come back. Of course, this wasn't absolute. When the time comes, it would depend on the situation. She couldn't just blindly throw her life away. However, she still felt that the possibility of her father being there was higher. Hee, you go ahead and check. Sima Yue saw Siyu's eyes darting around restlessly. She didn't know what she was thinking of. She wanted to ask Siyu if she knew about her father, but thinking about what Mu Si said before, she couldn't trust Siyu completely. In the end, she gave up. However, she didn't know where to start investigating. It was a little troublesome. She had too few clues in her hands. There was only Sunset Mountain, and her father's name was a taboo. There was nothing else. How was she going to find her father? That's not right. Since her father's name was a taboo, he must have done something. It must not be a small matter. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. Since it was like this, many people should know about him. As long as she found the right person, she would definitely be able to find out about her father. After thinking about this, she also thought about what she should do next. You rest first. I'll go out for a while, she said to Siyu and got off the bed. Where are you going? I want to go too. Siyu jumped off the bed and followed behind her. I'm going to the outhouse. I'm going too. 10 minutes later, she looked at Siyu who came out with her and sighed speechlessly. In Siyu's words, it would be great if I followed you. With me around, I can help you come up with ideas. You want to save your father, right? I'll help you. Sima Yue thought about what Xiao Tong said. She also wanted to see if Siyu had anything to do with saving her father, so she agreed to bring her along. Where are we going now? Siyu asked. I'm going to find someone to ask. Sima Yue suddenly stopped in her tracks. If they were there, when she wanted to find someone to ask, wouldn't her matter be exposed? What's wrong? Sima Yue was conflicted. Should she bring her along? Who are you going to find? Siyu asked. Is it something I can't know? It's about my father. I can't let you know either. Sima Yue was silent for a while before admitting. Oh, I understand. You're worried about me, right? Siyu pouted. I really want to help you, but it seems like I haven't gained your trust. This was the first time Sima Yue met someone so direct. She was so direct that she didn't know how to reply. If it's about my father, I have to be careful. I understand. Siyu waved her hand, indicating that she understood. But even though she understood, she still felt uncomfortable. This girl clearly gave people a sense of closeness, but why was she so guarded against her? But the more Sima Yue acted like this, the more she wanted to know what she was going to do. Her heart felt like it was being scratched by a cat. Since you're so worried, how about this? I'll make an oath. Siyu didn't wait for others to react and immediately said, no matter what I know about your father, I won't say a word. Otherwise, I'll go to hell and never come out. Chapter 1328. Siyu was so fast that Bo, who was behind her, could not stop her in time. Miss, when he heard her oath, he wanted to stop her, but he could only watch as the light of the oath flashed into her chest. Miss, why are you? River Earl regretted so much. He truly shouldn't have let the miss do whatever she wanted. She had just casually made a vow like this. What if someone took advantage of her? Sima Yue was also very surprised. How could this guy swear an oath just like that? How is it? I've already made the oath. Can you tell me now? Siyu said. Sima Yu sighed and said, Why are you doing this? Who asked you to pique my interest? Siyu said, I'm not someone who's really interested in people. You're to my liking, and I believe that you won't use this to do anything to me. All right, let's not dwell on this matter anymore. Tell me, who are you looking for? I don't know either. Sima Yue said. You don't know? Do you know Sima Lu Xian? Sima Yue asked. It's him? Siyu looked at Sima Yue in surprise. Then she suddenly realized, yes, you're Sima Yue and he's Sima Lu Xian. Both of your surnames are Sima. I didn't think of this before. It's normal that you didn't think of it. Hebo rarely spoke. The name Sima Lu Xian is a taboo here. No one has mentioned it for decades. You know my father too? Of course I know. Siyu said, Your father is famous. So you know what happened to my father? Sima Yue looked at her expectantly. If she knew, then he wouldn't have to look for her. I know what happened in the beginning, but not many people know what happened after that. Siyu said, No wonder your father is so powerful. It's not surprising at all if it's him. Front and back? That's right. Siyu said, After your father came to Ghost City, he did a few big things. He seemed to have been to the Forbidden Grounds. After that, the old witch took a fancy to him and wanted him to stay. However, he said that he wanted to go to the Ghost Realm. We don't know what happened after that. I thought he had already gone to the Ghost Realm. I didn't expect him to still be here. Old witch. Diwu looked at them. It's the Ghost City's city lord. Sima Yue said, Musi mentioned it before. Oh, I remember now. You only cared about eating. Oh, I remember now. It's that woman who has lived for over 1,000 years. Miss, your father has actually caught the eye of that old demonic woman. TSK, his charm is really great. Could he have already submitted to that old demonic woman and stayed here to be the city lord's husband? Diwu chuckled. Sima Yue's face turned black. She twisted Diwu's ear and said, My father belongs to my mother. He won't follow that old witch. You idiot. If my father had married that old witch, would he still be injured for decades? That's true. Diwu pulled his ear hard, trying to avoid her evil claws. If you dare to talk nonsense about my father again, I'll cut off your tongue and roast it. Sima Yue let go of him. Diwu rubbed his ear and quickly promised, Got it. Sima Yue then let him go and said to Siyu, since you know about my father, can you tell me about it? Maybe I can find some clues. I can, but I feel that you better not have any hope. This might not be of much help to you in finding your father. Siyu said, Why? Because what happened after that is confidential. Siyu hooked on his Sima Yue's shoulder and said with a mysterious look, I'll tell you a secret. Ant-Man liked your father too and was planning something previously. She's so mysterious. I don't know if it's related to your father. According to my conjecture, Ant-Man knows what happened after that. Maybe my father knows too, but he didn't tell me. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Her father's luck with women was really good. If that's the case, it's best to find your father and the rest if I want to know. But will they tell me? Sima Yue asked. This they should. Siyu wasn't sure. She had asked her father before, but she was reprimanded by him. He told her not to mention this name and didn't say anything else. However, if his biological daughter were to ask, her father might tell her. Then let's not delay any longer. Let's go find your father. Sima Yue said. We're going back now. Siyu didn't really want to go back, but seeing how anxious Sima Yue was, she could only sigh and said, All right, we'll go back first. But I don't know if my father will still let me out to play this time. Sai, let's go. Boom! Just as they were about to leave, a terrifying force exploded from the Forbidden Grounds. It spread out from the center of the Forbidden Grounds, but it was trapped by the enchantment outside the Forbidden Grounds. Hebo saw it and shouted, Not good. The Forbidden Grounds are rioting. Miss, let's leave this place quickly. The Forbidden Grounds are rioting? Siyu heard it and her face changed. She grabbed Sima Yue's hand. Let's leave this place quickly. What's going on? Sima Yue looked at the surging force above the Forbidden Grounds. It was like a wild beast that had been locked up for a long time. It attacked the enchantment wantonly. I don't have time to explain it to you, but there was a riot in the Forbidden Grounds 10,000 years ago. It said that many people died. We're so close to the Forbidden Grounds. We have to leave quickly. Siyu said, you guys leave first. Sima Yue took her hand from Siyu's hand and turned to fly back. What are you doing? Siyu shouted. Mu Si is still at home. Sima Yue replied without turning her head. Siyu didn't expect her to think of Mu Si at this time. Her eyes flickered. After hesitating for a few seconds, she ran back with her. Miss, Hebo wanted to stop them. Anyway, we don't have much time, Siyu said. They returned to Mu Si's broken little house. Mu Si had already woken up because of the earth-shattering commotion. His face turned pale when he saw the commotion at the Forbidden Grounds. He heard his father mention about the Forbidden Grounds rioting before. He knew what it was. Thinking of his ability, he knew he couldn't run away. Yue. He went to Sima Yoyue's room. There was no one in the empty room. Diwu wasn't there. Hebo wasn't there. Sima Yue and Siyu weren't there either. They must have left without him knowing. He laughed at himself. Didn't he know when he woke up and didn't see Diwu? He looked at the black aura above the Forbidden Grounds and felt hopeless. Why did his heart hurt when he realized he was abandoned at this time? Mu Si. Suddenly, an anxious voice called out to him. His body shook as he fell into despair. He stared blankly at the person who flew over from afar. Under the eaves revision notice. Under the eaves will be revised into a sub-column under the eaves. The front page of Under the Eaves will be revised on 6/15. Read from 6/15. The revised front page. Navigation bar. Long story. Enter the board. The current front page. The address of the board's front page changed to. Chapter 1329. Mu Si thought that he was hallucinating. They had already left. How could they appear again? However, that call was so clear in his ears, and her figure was so deeply imprinted in his mind. They had only known each other for 2 or 3 days. Why would she risk her life to come back and look for him? Mu Si, how are you? Are you all right? Sima Yue came to Mu Si and asked when she saw him in a daze. Why did you come back? Mu Si asked. I went out to settle some matters and came back when I saw the riot in the forbidden area. Sima Yue said, let's leave this place quickly. Didn't you leave me behind? Leave you behind? Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she smiled and said, don't worry, I won't leave you alone before I find your father. If we find your father, we'll give you to him. If I can't find it, I'll take you with me. Mu Si looked at the smile on her face and raised the corners of his mouth. It was the first time he really smiled. She didn't abandon him. How nice. All right, stop wasting time. Let's leave this place quickly. Siyu rushed over and saw the two of them talking in the courtyard. Sima Yue grabbed Mu Si's hand and pulled him out, saying, let's go. Mu Si followed Sima Yue and ran out. Looking at the hand that was grabbing his arm, his eyes suddenly became moist. Quickly get on the flying beast. Siyu called out her flying beast and called out to it. Sima Yue held on to Mu Si's waist and brought him onto the flying beast. Diwu and Hebo also flew up. Black Luan, go to the city wall and see if we can get out. Siyu said, yes, master. Black Luan flapped its wings and flew towards the city wall. They were not too far away from the city wall, so this was the best way to get out of the city. They wanted to obtain this, and so did the others. Along the way, many people were like them, rushing towards the city walls. However, the final result disappointed them. They didn't know if it was due to the influence of the forbidden area, but an invisible force appeared on the city wall, preventing anyone from entering or leaving. What should we do? We can't get out. Heavens, are they trying to kill us? Don't give up. Let's try attacking it together. Let's see if we can create an opening to get out. All right. Sima Yu watched as those people attacked that place that was similar to a spirit barrier. However, no matter how much strength they used, it was as if their fists were hitting cotton. Should we try it together? Diwu asked. It's useless, River Earl said. Why? Our ancestors once left a rumor, saying that once this city is destroyed, in order to protect this space, a space crack will appear outside the city, separating the entire ghost city. River Earl said, So no matter who it is, they can't break it. In other words, if the forbidden area continues like this, we have no way out. Sima Yue said. Doesn't that mean it's useless for us to escape to any corner of the city? We can only survive if we settle the riot in the Forbidden Land? Diwu shrunk his neck. I'll give it a try. Sima Yue flew towards the city wall after speaking. She called Little Roar out to fuse with her when no one was paying attention. Not long after she arrived at the top of the city wall, she was blocked by a force. She could clearly feel that layer of ripple, but no matter how hard she and Little Roar tried, they couldn't get past it. Yu, this isn't a barrier. I can't get past it, Little Roar said. After trying a few times, she had no choice but to give up. She returned to Black Phoenix after fusing with it. Mississippi, Diwu looked at Sima Yue worriedly. He knew that Sima Yue had the ability to pass through the barrier. Now that she couldn't get out, it meant that they were really trapped here. Sima Yue's face turned gloomy. She didn't know how to describe her feelings. She had only been here for 2 to 3 days, and she already encountered such a thing. She didn't know if she was lucky or not. If she was lucky, why did she encounter such a thing when she just arrived? If she was unlucky, this place would have been completely destroyed if she came a few days later. Then she would never be able to find her father. Before she came, she said that Ghost City was chaotic and scary. She felt that this place was no different from other cities. Now it seemed that this place was really dangerous. Black Phoenix, let's go back to the north of the city as soon as possible. See, you ordered. The north of the city was the furthest away from here. It was less affected there. Sima Yue looked at the chaotic crowd and then looked at the surging force above the forbidden area. Even if we reach the north of the city, it might not be of any use. We have to solve the root of this problem. What exactly is below the forbidden area? We don't know either. See, you said, I know a little. He both said, Ghost City is a city that floats in midair. It exists because of the force below. Force? Is it like the force in the mines? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Hebo nodded. We don't know where this force came from. But every time there's a disturbance, it is related to this. I heard from the previous patriarch that this has something to do with a force that existed since the ancient times. Everyone looked like they didn't understand and didn't know what he was talking about. Sima Yue was extremely shocked. Every mine would form a potential when it was formed. Before opening the mountain, the potential must be released first. If the potential wasn't released before opening the mountain, then the entire mine would be destroyed, along with the people who were mining. Previously, when Kong Xiang had asked Third Mo for help, it was because they had discovered a mine that was too complicated. That was why she had asked him for help. If a force existed since the ancient times, it would be harder to deal with than other forces. And from the looks of it, the force must have some spirituality. I'll go to the forbidden area to take a look. See you. Bring Mu Si to the north of the city. I'll look for you guys later. She said to See You. If I can't come back, please take care of him in the future. See You grabbed her arm instinctively. No. Yue, the forbidden area is so dangerous now. Why are you going there? I'm going to see if I can help. Sima Yue said. That place is so dangerous now. What can you do to help? I have some understanding of forces. If this is really related to force, I might be able to help. I'll leave Mu Si to you. Sima Yue glanced at Mu Si and flew into the sky. I'll wait for you to come back. You promised to teach me about enchantments. You haven't done it yet. I'll wait for you. Mu Si shouted at her back. Sima Yue turned back and waved at him. Don't worry, I'll definitely look for you guys. After speaking, she turned and flew towards the forbidden area. Under the Eaves revision notice. Under the Eaves will be revised into a subsection Under the Eaves. The front page of Under the Eaves will be revised on 6/15. Read from 6/15. The revised front page. Navigation bar. Long story. Enter this section, the current front page. The section's front page address changed to Chapter 1330. 3 days ago, just when Sima Yue and Di Wu jumped down from the city wall, A group of people gathered at a huge plaza in the center of the Forbidden Land. This square was different from other squares. It was surrounded by 8,100-meter-tall, black stone pillars. 4 pillars stood in 4 different directions of the square. Each stone pillar was carved with various ancient spirit beasts. At the center of the square was not a hard rock, but a huge pool. At this moment, the water-like liquid in the pool was moving restlessly. Above the pool, there was a semicircular ripple that wrapped the liquid in the pool, preventing it from moving out. Everyone in the square was paying attention to the movement of the pool, their faces full of worry. "Why isn't this Wu man here yet?" An old man shouted to the 2 people beside him. This old man was the previous patriarch of the Zhang family, one of the 4 stewards of Ghost City, Zhang Hao. Beside him was Luo Qi and Meng Sha, the manager of the east side of the city. Loki was more than 2 meters tall and was much taller than the average person. With his beard, he looked like a complete barbarian. The other one, Meng Sha, looked much gentler. However, his eyes were too cold. Just a glance from him would cause one to feel an endless chill. "Zhang Hao, Wu man needs some time to come from the north of the city," Luo Qi said. "Is her mind still on managing Ghost City?" Meng Sha said coldly. "I'm afraid she doesn't have any thoughts about the survival of this city. Women who think men are all the same." "Meng Sha, when will you stop talking with that mouth of yours?" An enchanting woman appeared from the void and coldly glanced at him. The newcomer was wearing a fiery red dress that exposed her legs and held a red fan in her hand. Even her eyelashes were red. She glanced at the people present, and her charm was overwhelming. "I'm really sorry. My mouth likes to speak the truth," Meng Sha said. "We're all here, except for you. It's inevitable that everyone would think that way. One day, I will poison your mouth until you become mute." Wu Man said. "Enough. Look at the situation we're in right now. Why are you still talking nonsense?" Zhang Hao stopped the 2 of them from continuing. If it was any other time, they would have said it. However, the situation was different now. There was no time for them to bicker. Wu Man came to the side of the pool and looked at the surging energy that was attacking the barrier. Some of it had even broken through the barrier and turned into black smoke. It wanted to rush out, but Wu Man swatted it away with her fan. "Why did it suddenly become so turbulent? My strength has also increased quite a bit." She casually fanned herself, every movement exuding a charming aura. Even her puzzled look was so alluring. "It's probably caused by the commotion at Sunset Mountain," Zhang Hao said. "Ever since that incident, the commotion here has become more frequent." Wu Man's hand, that was fanning herself, paused for a moment. Then, she returned to normal and said, "This place is closely connected to Sunset Mountain. It is normal for there to be some influence. I think this seal is about to be broken. I'm afraid it won't last much longer." Luo Qi said, "Have you informed the city lord?" "I can't contact the city lord. Others can't enter that place." Meng Sha said, "If the city lord doesn't come back, I'm afraid this seal won't be able to suppress it." Zhang Hao said, "Its strength has been growing. The people guarding here said that this power seems to have been nourished recently. Its strength is growing very quickly." Luo Qi added, "Since we can't contact the city lord, then we can only suppress it for now. Then we can find the city lord and rearrange the seal." Wu Man suggested, "That's the only way now. Is everyone here?" "All the guards of the forbidden area are here," Zhang Hao said. "Now, we're just waiting for you to arrive. Then let's begin. Everyone get ready." Zhang Hao waved his hand. All the guards in the plaza stood in a circle around the pool. 81 people flew to the pillars. Wu Man and the other 3 flew to the pillars in the 4 directions. "Seal!" With a command, everyone poured their spirit energy into the pool. The spirit energy was added to the seal's barrier. The barrier that was on the verge of collapse was recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Roar dash, the power in the pool felt that the seal's strength was increasing. It churned even more fiercely, as if it was going to make a final struggle. The seal that had just been repaired was once again weakened by the impact. "Again, we must suppress it," Zhang Hao said to everyone. Yes, everyone once again mobilized their spirit energy, pouring it into the seal even stronger than before. They began to fight with the power inside. "No, we can't suppress that power like this," Luo Qi said. "Wu Man," Zhang Hao called out. "Bullying this old lady?" Wu Man scolded. She threw the fan in her hand into the air. That fan slowly grew in the air until it was the size of the pool. The power in the pool seemed to be a bit afraid of this red fan. When this fan was pressed down in the air, its resistance clearly weakened by quite a bit. "Now!" Meng Sha shouted. Everyone simultaneously mobilized their spirit energy to the strongest. A portion of it was poured into the seal, while the rest attacked inside. "Ong dash!" A mournful and unwilling cry came from the pool. Then it slowly quieted down. The churning power slowly calmed down. "Withdraw." Once Zhang Hao said this, everyone simultaneously withdrew their spirit energy. That was why no one was injured. However, everyone was very tired. Although the duration was not very long, only about an hour, everyone's spirit energy seemed to have been emptied. "Everyone, eat some pills to recuperate," Zhang Hao said. All the guards were given pills. They ate the pills, then sat down and meditated to recover their spirit energy. Wu Man waved her hand. That fan returned to its original size and flew back into her hand. Although they had successfully suppressed the power they had obtained this time, their faces did not relax completely. "Although we temporarily suppressed it, we don't know if it has really settled down," Luo Qi said. "I can feel that it hasn't completely given up. It's just dormant. If it attacks, I'm afraid it will resist even more." Wu Man said worriedly. "I can feel it too," Meng Sha said. "That's why we can't leave this place for 2 days in case it suddenly attacks. That's the only way. If this power breaks out of the seal, I'm afraid we won't be able to resist. The entire city's people will be affected. Then should we tell them in advance and let them go out to hide?" Luo Qi suggested. "How we tell them? Once they know, I'm afraid it will cause even more chaos," Zhang Hao said coldly. "I agree. We'll observe a bit more. If it's really dangerous, it won't be too late to tell them," Meng Sha said. However, they did not expect that things would change so quickly. The danger would come so suddenly. Chapter 1331. The tranquility in the pool only lasted for 3 days. On the evening of the 3rd day, the force began to surge again. At first, the force wasn't very strong, and the liquid inside didn't move very much. Wu Man, Zhang Hao, Meng Sha, and Luo Qi stood at the edge of the pool. When they saw the boiling liquid, their hearts sank. This was much faster than they had expected. It's only been 2 days, and it's starting again. Wu Man waved her red fan and fanned it into the pool from time to time, slowing down the movement of the liquid. Fortunately, everyone has more or less recovered. If it resists too much, we can only suppress it again. Zhang Hao said, "I don't think so." Meng Sha looked at the liquid in the pool. A thin layer of black mist covered it. In the past, it was all black mist, but now it's so thick that it's turned into liquid. This means that its power has grown too much. Look, isn't the color of the water a lot darker than 2 days ago? This power has increased again. That's right. Can't suppress it? Unless the city lord returns. Zhang Hao said, "Only the city lord knows how to seal it. In the past, it would be sealed once every 100 years. But this time, several years have passed, and she still hasn't returned. Is she really going to give up the entire ghost city for a man?" Luo Qi said unhappily. "If this thing really rushes out, this city will be destroyed." Wu Man's face was filled with worry. Haha, that's not bad either. It would be a very spectacular scene if the entire city were to die together. Meng Sha laughed loudly. As long as this thing rushes out, in order to protect this space, it will automatically separate Ghost City. No one will be able to leave, and everyone will die together. I can't believe you can still laugh. Zhang Hao glared at him. If that's really the case, then there will no longer be a ghost city at the border between the human and ghost worlds. What else can we do other than laugh? Meng Sha said, "Don't tell me you still think that if it attacks with all its might, we can still hold on? Breaking the seal is only a matter of time. Even if we break through this, there's still the seal of the forbidden area. As long as we defend one, we will have a chance to suppress it. Luo Qi said, "We've never seen the seal of the forbidden area before. We don't even know if it's useful." The others didn't respond to Meng Sha's words because they also had doubts about this. As time passed, the impact from the thing in the pool became stronger and stronger. Everyone had to use their spirit energy to suppress it again. However, this time, it was useless against the power. It surged up from below like a volcanic eruption, attacking the seal above the pool again and again. Just as Siyu was swearing, the energy in the pool finally broke through the seal. A small crack appeared in the seal enchantment, and black fog started to leak out from it. "No, we can't hold on any longer. If we don't go out now, we'll all die here," Luo Qi shouted. "We have to retreat quickly," Wu Man said to Zhang Hao. Zhang Hao also knew that the situation could no longer be contained. After a few seconds of silence, he shouted, "Everyone, get out of the forbidden area." All of the guards stopped their attacks and retreated in unison. Wu Man and the other three also flew out. When they were retreating, which was when Siyu was swearing, a large amount of black fog appeared and quickly took over the plaza. When the black fog invaded, the 81 black pillars released a burst of light. The light connected and trapped the black fog in the plaza, buying time for everyone to leave. "You want to imprison me with this little bit of power? Jiji Jaiji." In the darkness, a dark and hollow voice sounded, causing endless fear to rise in the hearts of everyone who had just reached the plaza. Did it really become a spirit? Hong. The obstruction from the black pillars was quickly broken through by the energy, releasing an earth-shattering sound. At the same time, a thick enchantment lit up at the boundary of the forbidden area, blocking the energy inside. A few guards who were slightly slower were also isolated inside, and were quickly submerged by the black fog. They didn't even have time to cry out before they turned into a pile of white bones. What a strong power! Everyone looked at the surging black fog with lingering fear. Previously, there was the barrier of the seal, so they didn't directly come into contact with it. When it chased after them just now, they felt its strength. Luckily, there was the seal of the forbidden area. Otherwise, everyone in Go City would have died here today. The people in the city already felt the riot here. Their instincts told them how dangerous it was, so they all flew out of the city. This city is indeed in chaos. We can't leave even if we want to. Is there any way? Luo Qi asked. Wu Man, you used to be the closest to the city lord. Did she tell you about this? Why would she tell me this? Wu Man sneered. This is the guarantee for her to secure the city lord's position. Why would she tell me? That's true. Only the city lord knows about this. She wouldn't tell anyone else. Meng Sha said, it was because of this that other people couldn't have thoughts of usurping the throne. Luckily, this seal is strong enough. Otherwise, it would have rushed out. But this won't last long. We have to suppress it back. The black fog in the seal became thicker and thicker, and the surging became more and more intense. From time to time, there would be a bone-chilling scream. Don't tell me we really don't have any other way? Luo Qi saw it attack the seal again and again. If this continued, it would come out of the seal sooner or later. We can use our spirit energy to reinforce the seal in the pool. This should work too. Wu Man said, let's give it a try. Okay. The four managers flew above the forbidden area seal and kept injecting their spirit energy into it. However, because they had already used up a lot of it, it wasn't very useful to reinforce the seal. The thing inside attacked the place where they were reinforcing it. The four of them were pushed back by its power. The more it comes out, the stronger it gets. Luo Qi clutched his chest and spat out a mouthful of black blood. But we're outside now. We can't stop it from coming out. Wu Man used her blood fan to block it at the crucial moment. She was much better than Luo Qi. Someone's coming. Meng Sha was facing Sima Yue. Because she was different from the others, he saw her at a glance. Everyone looked over and saw Sima Yue flying towards them. This person is interesting. Everyone is running for their lives, but she's rushing over to die. Meng Sha wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said faintly. Chapter 1332. Sima Yue flew over and saw that everyone was looking at her. Before she could say anything, a terrifying aura came from inside the barrier. The aura passed through the barrier and spread outside. Wherever the aura went, everyone who came into contact with it fell from the sky, including her and the 4 stewards. The ground was full of fallen people. Just a single strand of aura was unbearable. Just what kind of terrifying thing was inside? It hurts. Sima Yue rubbed her aching buttocks. She wanted to stand up, but her body went limp because of the aura. Woof, 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 get out. Get out. Xiao He, who had sensed Sima Yue's aura, shouted in the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue recalled that the previous incident in Fair Eastern City was also resolved because of Little Black. At that time, it had the same reaction. Could it be the same this time? She called Little Black out. The moment Little Black came out, she felt that the terrifying aura had disappeared. Woof, woof, woof. Little Black wagged its tail and barked at Sima Yue. Then, it turned around and ran towards the forbidden area. Little Hey, stop. Sima Yue pulled its tail. Woof, woof, woof. Little Black turned its head and barked at her. Little Black, you can't just go there. Sima Yue stood up with it in her arms. We don't know what that thing in the Forbidden Land is. It's too dangerous. Xiao He blinked. She wasn't sure if it understood Sima Yue's words. Regardless, what it did next made her completely speechless. Woof, woof, woof. Blackie roared at the forbidden area, and everyone outside the forbidden area heard it. What was surprising was that after a howl, the aura completely retreated. He went back. Everyone was stunned. Even Zhang Hao and the rest were stunned as they stared blankly at Little Black, who was in Sima Yue's arms. What's going on? The people on the ground all got up. Those who were close to them knew that it was Little Black who did it. Those who were far away only heard a dog bark. Wu Man happened to land not far away from Sima Yue. She was also the first person to notice that Little Black was not an ordinary person. She looked at Little Black as if she was looking at a treasure. This is your spirit beast. Her eyes shone as she stared at Little Black. Sima Yue nodded. That thing inside is so afraid of it. Can you let it try and see if it can suppress it? Wu Man said. But Little Black doesn't have any attack power at all. Sima Yue hugged it. It's impossible for it to attack. No attack power? Wu Man took a closer look at Little Black. It was nestled in Sima Yue's arms. Indeed, there was no fluctuation of spiritual energy. Yeah, Xiao He doesn't have any attack power. Sima Yue said with certainty. It doesn't matter if you don't have any attack power. Didn't it just roar back that thing's aura? Then let it roar a few more times. Wu Man said. The lives of the entire city are in its hands. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. If the entire city was destroyed, she wouldn't be able to survive, much less find her father. Little Black, why don't you go and try? Sima Yue carried Little Black and said, Woof, woof, woof. Little Black wagged its tail at Sima Yue, indicating that it was willing to do so. How do we do this? Sima Yue didn't understand this and could only ask Wu Man. Wu Man didn't know either. It was also her first time seeing a creature that could threaten that thing. She said with uncertainty, why don't we let it go up there and roar twice like it did just now? Okay. Sima Yue carried Little Black into the air and approached the enchantment of the forbidden area. She realized that the moment they got close, the black fog inside retreated a little. Sima Yue didn't need to say anything. Little Black immediately roared when it saw the black fog. It had a feeling that its dignity was being challenged, and it came to seek revenge. The black fog that was still arrogant just now. When it heard Little Black's roar, its arrogance instantly disappeared, and the rolling speed slowed down a lot. Wu Man saw that it really worked and heaved a sigh of relief. I wonder what kind of creature Little Black is. Even that thing is afraid of it. The others flew over and saw the situation in front of them. It could be said that they were stunned. What is this thing? It's actually so powerful. When Little Black heard someone say what it was, it angrily glared at that person. It scared him so much that he fell from the sky and almost died from the fall. That's this little girl's spirit beast. It doesn't have any attack power, but the thing inside seems to be afraid of it. Wu Man explained, "Isn't this the little girl that flew over just now? Your spirit beast can actually suppress it." "What spirit beast is it?" Luo Qi asked. "I don't know either. When I met it, it was already like this. Then, I don't know why I signed a contract with it. It looks like a dog, but its intelligence isn't high and it can't speak. That's why I don't know what it is until now." Sima Yue made up stories one after another. Looking at her pure eyes, the others really believed her words. After all, there were so many strange and powerful creatures in the world. Some of them were like this, and there was nothing strange about it. No matter what it is, since it has a deterrent effect on that thing, we might be able to make it go back inside. Zhang Hao said, "Right now, this is the only way. Little girl, give it a try. See if you can make this thing go back inside the forbidden area." "Okay." Sima Yue nodded. She patted Little Black's head and said, "Do you know what to do?" Little Black blinked. Although it didn't know what to do, its instincts told it that it could do whatever it wanted. It was a natural king, and no one dared to challenge its majesty. It came out from Sima Yue's arms and jumped on top of the ceiling barrier. Because of the barrier, it didn't fall down. Woof, woof, woof. It barked at the black fog a few times, and the black fog really began to retreat. It actually worked. Seeing the black fog retreat with their own eyes, everyone was shocked. What followed was an uncontrollable ecstasy. It seemed like they were saved this time. When the black fog slowly retreated, the barrier no longer existed. Little Black didn't have any spiritual energy and couldn't fly. Once the barrier disappeared, it began to fall. Sima Yue was shocked. If it fell into the black fog, would it still be alive? She didn't think and chased after it. Before Little Black landed, she hugged it. She landed in the middle of the forbidden area. However, she also realized that where Little Black was, the black fog had all retreated. It seemed like it was afraid of it and didn't have any intention of attacking them. When the people outside saw Sima Yue chasing into the black fog, they thought that she would die. They didn't expect the black fog to open up a path. This made them even more suspicious of her and Little Black's identities. To be continued. Chapter 1333. Little girl, go ahead. Please search to see the most complete. It's the fastest. Wu Man and the others didn't dare to approach her and could only guide her from the air. Sima Yue nodded. She carried Xiao Hei and walked in the direction they had mentioned. Every time she moved forward, the black fog would retreat a little, and the area it covered would decrease by a little. The originally chaotic city was now quiet. The aura that made them fear was weakening. Was the crisis over? They wanted to go to the forbidden area to watch. After Zhang Hao found out, he sent a patrol team to guard outside and forbade anyone from approaching the forbidden area. On Black Lawn, Di Wu and Mu Si looked over anxiously. "Miss, please be safe. If anything happens to you, how am I going to explain to Master?" Di Wu looked like he was about to cry. "No, she'll be fine," Mu Si said with certainty. "She said she'll come back to find us, so she'll definitely come back." Although he spoke with certainty, his tightly clenched and trembling hands still revealed his worry and anxiety. Even Siyu couldn't remain calm as she said, "We've only known each other for 2 days. Why am I already worried about her? This is different from before." Even Ibo felt that Siyu treated Sima Yue differently. If Sima Yue was a man, he would wonder if young Miss fell in love with her at first sight. But she was a girl through and through. Could it be that young Miss's sexual orientation had changed? I saw that she was very confident when she left. She should be fine. He persuaded his young mistress not to worry. "Ibo, you said that Yue said that she has a better understanding of force. Does that mean that she is also a seeker spirit master?" Siyu recalled how Sima Yue looked like before she left. "Yes, she's also a formation master like me. TSK, a spirit master with multiple professions." Siyu sighed. A person like her must have been doted on by the heavens. She wouldn't have died so early. The fact that she used 2 affirmations in a row meant that she wasn't certain in her heart. It's a pity that I can't go closer. I wonder how young Miss is now. Diwu said worriedly. Get close. Siyu's eyes lit up. It's not that dangerous now. We can go closer to take a look. It was better than being anxious here. Black Swan, go over. Black Swan flapped its wings and flew towards the forbidden grounds. When it approached the forbidden grounds, it was stopped by the patrol team. Up ahead is a forbidden area. No one is allowed to approach. My little sister is inside. I have to go in and take a look, Siyu said with a straight face. Your younger sister? The guard obviously didn't believe him. Yeah, she just came over. Siyu said, she's wearing a long black dress and looks really pretty. You're not talking about the girl with the puppy, are you? Said the guard. A girl with a puppy? Siyu blinked. She could tell that he had a faint admiration for the person he mentioned. She didn't care if he was talking about Sima Yue and replied, Isn't it her? What's wrong with her? Was he injured? Aya, let me take a look at my younger sister. She's my family's treasure. If anything happens to her, I'll definitely ask any man to punish you. But the manager said that no one is allowed to get close. The patrol team still insisted. Am I like those people? My sister is inside, but is someone else's sister inside? Is she there? Siyu raised her voice, appearing very anxious and worried. No buts, just let me go over. If anything happens to my little sister, I'll just go with her. Siyu started crying as she spoke, her tears streaming down her face. Don't be anxious. Your little sister is very powerful. Nothing will happen to her. Do you still need to tell me how scary the things in this forbidden area are? My little sister is alone inside. How can I not be anxious? Siyu cried even harder as she spoke. But we can't break the rules. The patrol team looked at each other. They were in a difficult position. If it was an ordinary person, they would just chase them away. Although they didn't know Siyu's identity, they knew that she was from a large family. If they really caused a ruckus here, they wouldn't be able to answer to both sides. Luckily, the commotion here attracted the attention of those in the forbidden area. Wu Man saw the people causing a ruckus here and frowned, saying, Let them come over. When the patrol team heard this, they immediately moved to the side, saying, Please. Hail Wan brought them to Wu Man's side. Siyu called out, Ant-Man, little sister, why don't I know? When did your father have a daughter? Wu Man asked. Siyu flew to Wu Man's side and held her hand, saying, Ant-Man, you know. Is it another friend you made outside? Wu Man turned her gaze to Sima Yue and praised her. You made a good friend this time. She's different from your bad friends in the past. Wu Man's voice wasn't loud. She didn't really want to question Siyu. The current situation didn't allow her to say much. Siyu followed her gaze and saw Sima Yue. When she saw Sima Yue alone in the forbidden area, she cried out, Ant-Man, why is she alone down there? It's so dangerous. Sima Yue heard her voice and turned back to take a look. Seeing that she was worried about her, she smiled at her and continued to walk forward. Based on the current situation, she's not in danger. Wu Man continued. The spirit beast in her embrace seems to be able to restrain this thing. Didn't you see that the black fog retreated a little when she walked forward? Siyu and Mu Si, who was on Hail Wan's back, saw that it was indeed so. I didn't expect this girl to be so powerful. She said she had a way, and she really did. Siyu smiled and said. Diwu wasn't surprised when he saw this. He had heard a lot about young Mississippi. In his heart, she was omnipotent. But believing was believing. He still had to see it with his own eyes before he could relax. Seems like you two are very close. Mengsha would sometimes go to the north of the city to look for Wu Man. He knew her beloved niece. He was curious about Sima Yoyue's identity. If Siyu knew her, then he should know her identity. Not really. We've known each other for 2 days. Siyu laughed when she thought about how they knew each other. 2 days, and she's your younger sister? Although Wu Man was grateful to Sima Yue, if she was someone who tried to curry favor with those in power, then her impression of her would drop. You're wrong, Ant-Man. She didn't want to be my younger sister. I wanted to be her elder sister. Siyu explained, this girl knew that I'm C family's young miss and didn't agree at first. I had to threaten and bribe her before she agreed. Speaking of this, she was rather proud. Wu Man wanted to say that she was fooling around again, but before she could finish, she was interrupted by a surprised voice. That thing is going back to the pond. To be continued. This book came from Chapter 1334. Everyone shifted their attention to Sima Yue. She had already walked past the streets and arrived at the square. However, after reaching this place, the black fog did not retreat. It was as if it was putting up a final resistance. Sima Yue could vaguely see the pool. All the black fog had retreated back into the pool. She guessed that the black fog must have come out from the pool. Little girl, chase it back into the pond. Zhang Hao ordered. Sima Yu pursed her lips. This person was really putting on airs to order people around? That tone of command really made people feel uncomfortable. Little Black seemed to be unhappy as well. It jumped out of her arms and sat there motionlessly. When it sat down, the people behind it were dumbfounded. They were about to rush back. So why did it stop? Little girl? This is... Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at Little Black. She knew that this fellow was unhappy. Little Black, why aren't you moving? Let's continue. Woof, woof, woof. Little Black barked at her and wagged its tail. It sat on the ground and refused to leave. Little girl, you're about to succeed. Don't drop the ball at the crucial moment. Zhang Hao said again. Sima Yue was even more unhappy. The more unhappy she was, the more unhappy Blackie was. It stood up and barked at Zhang Hao, then lay down facing them. He's still lying down? Are you throwing a tantrum? If it weren't for the fact that the timing wasn't right, everyone would have laughed out loud when they saw Little Black's expression. Little girl, time waits for no man. You'd better let... Before Zhang Hao could finish his words, Little Hay rolled its eyes at him and closed its eyes to sleep. Everyone was dumbfounded. Now, they could see that Blackie was dissatisfied with Zhang Hao. Zhang Hao also saw it. His face immediately darkened. It was almost as dark as Little Hay's fur. However, he could not argue with a beast. He could only ask Sima Yue, who was standing at the side. Little girl, what's going on? I don't know either, Sima Yue said. Although I have a contract with it, I can't feel its thoughts. Maybe he's tired from forcing this thing here from the outside. Since she said that, Zhang Hao didn't want to force her anymore. Even the group of them were helpless against it. Yet the other party forced it back. Could it be that they were slow? And he didn't even allow her to be tired for a while. However, everyone could tell that Little Black wasn't tired. It only cried out twice. How could it be tired? We're giving you a chance to deal with this matter because we think highly of you. Don't be pretentious. A man said discontentedly. When Wu Man and Meng Sha heard this, they knew that something was wrong and could only glare at that person anxiously. Before they could say anything, they saw Sima Yue laugh coldly and say, since that's the case, then you can call it. Who knows, maybe once you call it, it will return to the pond. After saying that, she squatted down and carried Little Black back. Once she left, the result would be disastrous. The black fog spread over again, scaring the people who came down, and they quickly flew up into the air. Zhang Hu, if you don't speak, no one will think you're mute. Meng Sha scolded. The person called Zhang Hu wanted to refute, but when he saw everyone staring at him, he could only swallow the words in his heart. Little girl, don't be angry. Zhang Hu was just casually saying it. Zhang Hao said, casually saying it? I don't think so. Sima Yue looked at Zhang Hao. Although everyone is locked up here, but I think if I don't do anything and wait until everyone in the city is dead before I act, I won't lose a single strand of hair. Therefore, I can help or not help with this matter. It's not up to anyone to casually shout and criticize me. Just now, this person also said that it's just a matter of calling out twice. I think he can do it too. There's no need for us here. I'll take my leave first. After saying that, she carried Little Black and was about to leave. At this moment, everyone looked at the Zhang family with disdain. Zhang had obviously made the little girl unhappy just now, and now he was scolding her. If it were them, they would definitely leave. Little girl, don't be angry. Meng Sha cupped his hands towards Sima Yue. I'm not angry. It's just that my family's little black strength is weak. I'm afraid he can't help you. Sima Yue sneered. Those who could appear in the forbidden area, other than the usual guards, were people with high status in Go City. When had they ever been treated like this? But Sima Yue was like this. They couldn't force her with a knife. Not only could they not, they had to treat her well, because all of their lives were in her hands. Isn't that so? My little sister said that Little Black doesn't have any spiritual energy and gets tired easily. To force such a scary thing to this extent, Little Black must be very tired. Siyu said, Little sister, you must be very tired. Come over to sister. Many people from the northern part of the city recognized Siyu. Seeing that she called Sima Yue a little sister, they were puzzled. When did the Si family have another daughter? The Si family had noticed Siyu before, but she was by Wu Man's side, so no one came to find her. Now that they heard that Sima Yue was her little sister, the Si family couldn't react in time. Father, when did little sister have a little sister? Why didn't we know? Don't tell me you brought her back from outside? Does mother know? Siyu's third brother smiled and asked. Siyu's father, Si Kong Lian's face darkened. He glared at his son and said, Your little sister is messing around, and you're messing around too? That little girl should be someone that little sister met when she was playing outside. But it seems like little sister is quite protective of her. Si family's eldest brother said. Why didn't Ibo send any news back? Who is this person? Si family's second brother frowned. It better not be someone who used her identity as little sister to climb up the social ladder. Ibo didn't send any news back. Either little sister didn't let him, or they just met not long ago. Si family's eldest brother said, No matter what, little sister treats her differently. Sima Yue didn't expect Siyu to be so protective of her at this time. Seeing that she was speaking up for her, she nodded at her and carried Little Black over. So this is Miss C. Miss C, your father is here too. If anything happens, they won't be able to escape. Meng Sha pointed at Si family's direction. Sima Yue looked over and saw a few people who looked similar to Siyu. Aya, why are father and the rest here? Little sister, father is here. Don't be afraid. Come back and rest if you're tired. Siyu looked like she had found someone to back her up. Actually, these words were meant for the Si family to hear so that they wouldn't be exposed. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.